While the hosts and guests are encouraged to express their views, they don't necessarily reflect those of the management of Portland Sports Network, but they likely do.
Coach Derek along with Coach Bear and Kyle Eaton. Today, our guest will be the PHS fishing team, I guess you could say, or the fishing team of Sumner County. Eli Baird, our fisherman, and Teddy Baird. Would you call it the coach, or are
Used
you
to
the
be.
driver?
Used
To
to
be
be coach,
coach.
yeah.
Okay.
And now I'm
and
boat
now you're the
captain.
boat driver or boat
Boat
captain. Okay. Um, Along with them, we'll have results from this past weekend or last weekend from the basketball Portland Classic, Christmas Classic, that is. Um, and from there, we'll just kind of, as you say, we'll go off the rails here and there about certain subjects. But guys, glad you're all here. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. How's everybody doing this morning, Kyle?
I'm doing good. Christmas was good. Uh, got to spend time with family, which that's what it's all about. And I kind of realized how things change. I've gotten older. When I was younger and starting out, you had to go to 7 different places in about a 4-day span around Christmas. And, because you had to visit all the families. And now that I'm like the old person now, I'm one of the places that people come to visit, so I don't go anywhere else. So, I have the one moment, the one day with the family, and that's always pretty good. But it makes it a little bit easier on yourself too when you're not having to worry about, you know, going off to all the other places and everything. But it was kind of weird, 70 whatever degrees outside. Um, Made it good to push all the kids and grandkids outside to play with their toys. But other than that, it's kind of weird. I don't remember being that warm on Christmas Day before.
I lived in Texas at one time, and I think it was 75, 80 degrees on Christmas Day one day. There's a picture of me and my dad working on a project, and we don't have a shirt on back when I was in middle school. So I've been to that point. I've also lived in Iowa where we've had 6 feet of snow and it's 2 degrees outside. And so I've been on both spectrums. I like the weather. As you said, we're getting older, so I enjoy the weather like it is now. That way you ain't got to worry about if you have to go somewhere. As you're going and visiting friends and relatives and everything, you don't have to worry about trying to drive through the ice or the snow or anything like that. Today was, God, it just irritated me. I told you this morning I was going to go off the rails. I didn't think I was going to do it this early, but man, it's foggy out, and I know the fog's on lift, but I just wonder how some people got their license sometimes. When it's foggy, you're supposed to turn your lights on. Everybody's cars nowadays, their lights are automatically on anyway, but it seems like, oh, fog, let's turn the light off. You don't drive with your high beams on, you just drive with regular lights on. And people don't want to do that. And you see these people that are in these wrecks and everything like that. It just, you wonder what they're doing. Everybody gets in a hurry. That's another thing I was watching over the last couple of days was to make sure you checking your lights.
Yeah, speaking of which, to make sure his lights was turned off.
That's the boat captain for you.
I could have swore I turned my headlights on. I know I turned them on earlier.
But it's just, I don't know. I see these where there was a wreck over there by 65 and 52, I think, last night, and you just wonder, how critical was you trying to turn, or they was trying to turn, or what happened to where you couldn't have waited 5 seconds to delay and go and make sure it was safe, and everybody's trying to get in a hurry and get there. I understand that, but it's just with everybody driving and everybody's trying to get there in a rush, and you need to be careful when you do that. John, how was your Christmas?
It was fine.
Short.
It was just good. I
he
mean,
does- he
I
does
spent
the
the week
famous
with my
thing.
wife, so
Yeah.
I had an absolutely great time. Didn't get bugged much from work, so I actually muted my phone and put it in the other room, which is highly unusual for me. But it was great. Anytime I can spend a week with my wife, it's great. So I can't complain at all. And it was nice. I
Smart
could ride my
move.
bike every day. So that was good too. Then
So-
woke up this morning in the fog. It was perfect segue to fishing. Because how many mornings have you started in the fog? A bunch.
We have fog delays, and
Yeah,
it's not
it's-
very fun
yeah,
on
I-
fog delays
I-
when you got 250 boats sitting out there and
Right.
doing nothing.
I remember growing up, that was one of the things when you get up that early and hit the lakes, it's foggy a bunch of times.
So with us here on my left, we got Teddy Baird, the boat captain of the fishing team. Over to the right, we have Eli Baird, our fisherman for the PHS. So guys, it's been a little over a year since you was on the show last. It seems like every time we try to get you on, you was in a tournament or doing something, and then it just kind of, I'm not saying that you kind of slipped out of our minds or anything, but we all of a sudden we go, oh man, we got to get him back on. And today, what we'll do today is we'll talk a little fishing. And then what we want to do is maybe after the live broadcast ends on the video, we'll take the iPad out, and they got the boat here. We'll do a boat tour, let them do a boat tour, and that will be on the video. I want to apologize for last week's episode 5 video. It was not put up is because of all the background noise from the basketball tournament. I tried for 4 days to cut that out, and so where you could hear what was going on, and you couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. And so there was no episode 5 that was posted on YouTube video-wise from Off the Rails last Saturday. So we got to make sure we get Coach Stein and maybe the girls back on from the basketball team to try to sit there and at least get a video done. Although the audio was good, you can still listen to the audio and all that. Eli, how was your Christmas, and what have you been doing here in the last year or so?
We're pretty good. Christmas is always a great time of year. You know, just not only just opening up presents, but like what it truly means. You know, and of course the fellowship with the family and everything like that. And for our Christmas, a lot of our stuff is done on Christmas Eve, and so Christmas Eve, I guess mid morning afternoon, we're at his family's, and then that night we're at my mom's family's. So kind of just going back and forth right there, and then Christmas Day was really good. Of course, it was at the house, and Mom always makes. This time we had some pretty good sausage balls. I really
This
like
time was
those.
pretty good. The last
Where-
time it was not
where's
good. or-
ours is the question.
Well,
I have some in the
I'm
refrigerator.
going to
gonna
let
let-
Mike a little closer to you if you don't
I'm gonna throw her under the bus a little bit, and kind
You're
of.
going to the lake afterward. You got a couple
Yeah.
hours. to
Yeah, and well, she's in Florida, so
Yeah, she's
we-
actually in Florida.
we're
with
good right now.
Eliana.
But sometimes you know it's not the best just because stuff gets burnt, you know. But she did a phenomenal job, and it might have been because Dad was in the kitchen with her. I don't know.
I pretty much put all the sausage balls
So,
together.
Yeah, there you go.
I done all the
Mixing
Gooey-
them.
the
gooey
kneaded
stuff.
it
Yeah,
and stuff.
the gooey stuff, dude.
So
It's-
it was good, and Christmas was really good, and then the past year or so has been pretty chaotic. You know, just I mean, I'm be honest with you, I haven't been on the lake since I got back from Alabama, and I'll talk about that a little bit later about the kind of tournament that I fished in Alabama. I don't know if they told you, but that was a really fun tournament. And then, of course, before all that, back in October and September, where around where the season started, we was pretty much week after week after week, and so yeah, just we stayed. Me and my partner. My partner is from Station Camp High School, and he's in the same grade as I am, and
Yeah, that would be you're a junior this year.
I'm a senior.
You're a senior this
Yes,
year.
sir. And we've stayed pretty consistent in the points, and consistency is one of the biggest things with fishing. Is you can go out there and get lucky on a day or two, but if you stay consistent, week after week, those points add up over
Yeah.
time, and that's what it's all about right there. And so we stayed pretty consistency. We stayed pretty consistent and had some pretty good finishes, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, just fishing and been working a little bit, and then of course
So
Christmas.
one of y'all explained we had a fishing team PHS fishing team. We had 2 boats, and then we were at the last time we kind of talked. Those 2 boats was looking to maybe even go to 4 boats because we had a middle school fishing team kind of going on, and people wanting to do that, and we're getting team members and boat members and everything, and then you was losing your older brother as your boat mate, I guess you'd call it. You was bringing on your sister, Eliana, to be your boat mate, and we talked about that, and then all of a sudden she changed course and went into cheerleading, and then next thing you know, there's no more fishing team. So did Eliana leaving, going to cheerleading, is that what caused? Tell everybody what happened, and what brought about the PHS fishing team kind of disbanding and going into a Sumner County fishing team. Is that what that is, or are you just kind of fishing? What's the word I'm looking for? Not individually, but
Like a club.
yeah. Are you? It's a fishing club now or something?
Well, so first I want to thank when we got this started, myself and Andy Mathias. We had a vision. We started the middle school team. Jackson Howell was a huge supporter of it. Our kids, mine and his kids both, went to Portland East Middle School. So Portland East Middle School had the first fishing team. After a couple years there, then we started the high school team. Dr. Woods has been awesome. After we got it started, our kids has went through the high school part of it. So the original team, I want to thank the original sponsors. They all know who they are. We kept those sponsors pretty much the whole time. There was a few that didn't get back on our jerseys again, but all of our sponsors, it's been supportive of us. It's just so many different people. But when we started this, we wanted it to be the middle school and high school team, and so that's the reason why we had the Portland fishing team. We didn't want it to be Portland High School fishing team or nothing like that. The last 2 years, we've had a Portland High School fishing team only because there's not been anybody from the middle schools that wanted to fish. At the end of last season, we only had a couple. We had 4 or 5 boats last year, but we only had a couple that was really actually fishing and being competitive and fishing more than 1 or 2 tournaments a year. So through the summer, we didn't have any new people or anybody else that wanted to come forward. We had us and the Chad Pearson's boat, which is Mason Pearson and Blaine Gregory. Well, they decided that they wasn't going to fish the Tennessee Bass Nation, which that's the one that's through Bassmaster.
Okay.
That's like the high school trail.
That's the trail that we've been with the whole
Through the
time.
school.
And we talked about the North Central, the South Central, and all that. It's all there. Well, now Bassmaster has put they kind of gave them some rules they could go by. They have a state trail which covers the whole state, and that's where the points come in. They have different points brackets. So he does state tournaments only, and it's a points thing where he's at. And then there's a central division, or now they took away the central division, so there's only an east and a west. There's no longer a north central, a central, east, and west anymore. Okay? So it's really confused everything up, and it's also took away from the Middle Tennessee area.
Because that's where it's going to split. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So where is the split?
It's basically Kentucky Lake and Barkley and Pickwick is all on the west,
Okay.
and everything else is for the
Center
east.
Hill is
Yeah.
over on the
East side. Yep.
Where are y'all? What are y'all? Are y'all east?
So what they done is they took away the central tournaments for this year because this is the first year that they had to split it up like
Yeah.
this, and they just had to get a schedule out there and everything. But they took and made a state tournament at O'Hickory, right?
Yes.
It's-
So it was actually supposed to be at Percy Priest, and then we fished at O'Hickory.
Yeah. So they swapped it up. We wound up going out of O'Hickory for a state tournament instead of a region tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you in the west or east division?
We can fish them either one.
Either one?
I'm in every single one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he fished Watts Bar. So you want to
Yeah.
talk about that?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that's the first tournament of the year, wasn't it?
No, second.
Okay, where was the first one at?
Kentucky Lake.
Okay,
And that started when? Back in.
The first week of
September.
September.
Okay.
I think it was
So-
September 9th, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And so Kentucky Lake was the first tournament of the year, and that was first tournament with my new partner and stuff, and so we were kind of getting familiar, just kind of.
He wasn't with us.
Or no, it was just me and you. That's
Yeah.
right.
We drove over.
Yeah,
That's the day that it stormed, like really, really bad.
yeah.
I'm talking like downpour, and I'm talking wind blowing, and we actually got not a fog delay. We was in a storm delay.
Wow.
We drove through the storm somewhere between, I guess between Nashville and Dixon, on the interstate. We drove through it, and I mean it got down. I had to get down to like 10, 15 mile an hour to get over there because I drove over that morning. But we got there probably an hour before takeoff was supposed to happen, but we wound up
about an hour
delaying
before we
like
was
2
even
hours,
supposed to be
wasn't
in
it?
the water. So I'm pretty sure we sat there and took a nap.
Wasn't it like 2 hours delay though?
Huh?
Wasn't it like 2 hour delay?
Yeah, so we got the boat put in, and where it's at on Kentucky Lake, it's more the riverside. It's down toward Pickwick Dam, and it's it's called the Beach River.
Yeah.
And it's just a big old long creek basically, and so we put in way back there, so you kind of got to idle all the way out to the mouth of it where the tournament's coming out.
Yeah.
Of. So we kind of just took our time, and 2 hours later we were able to take off. But that tournament, with me and him, I practice about 40 or 50 miles away from that boat ramp down towards Pickwick Dam.
It was
And,
70 miles.
Or 70 miles, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
one
It was-
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we put in down there towards Pickwick.
this
to
is
practice.
This is about a week prior.
We did on that Memorial Day or
Yeah.
whatever's in the
Late-
fall.
Labor
Day.
Labor Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
We was off of school that day, so I took him fishing.
We knew what you meant.
But we put in down there, but we had to make that run in the boat that morning. So an hour of wide open, but we had to idle it back a little bit where we'd have enough gas to get back.
But
I needed a little bit more than half a tank of gas when I got down there.
So basically, I've actually brought the baits that I literally used. Well, mainly this guy right here. But during practice, something that I was really locating and trying to find was brush piles. And so every brush pile, every good deep, in about 15 foot of water brush pile I found, I'd scan it and I'd try to fish it a little bit because a lot of those fish were set up in those brush piles, like a lot of the smallmouth and stuff. And so I had actually caught one that was just shy of maybe 3 or 4 pounds, so it was a pretty solid one. And then I started getting bit on a couple other ones. So of course I had all these marked, and so we ran that tournament morning. We ran 70 miles to those spots or whatever, and they were pulling current pretty good. And I was like, this is gonna set up to be pretty good. And I get to the first pile, and I think I don't break one off, but I lose one, and first thing, and I'm like all right, I've got all day. I mean, I can do something with this. And I think I lost one on top water too. He didn't.
The very first
he
you did,
didn't
yeah.
eat it all the way or something. I don't know what the deal was. And so we kept going up to some of our other spots, and it was just dead. They were nowhere to be found. And I was like, dang. I was like, I don't know. What
The
to
week
do
before
now.
they were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot
And
of
the
times,
weather didn't change much
No.
other than that storm. It was it.
And
I
a
mean,
lot
it
of
ain't like it
times
would have changed
when,
a whole lot of it.
these brush piles and stuff are a lot deeper, 10, 15 foot of water, those fish aren't going to move. They're sitting on a piece of structure. They're not chasing bait or nothing. They're sitting in one solid spot, And so that's what I figured, I'd be fine with.
Now,
And,
let me ask you this, because I'm ignorant about fishing to the point that where y'all are at. But when that storm comes through, doesn't that stir up a lot of stuff? And will that not let the fish decide to go out and go chase something that's normally not there? Because, like you said, it was normally calm water or to the point where they're not going to go. But with this storm coming in, water rising, change the temperature of the water.
It could.
And then you can sit there and stir up some stuff to where they might decide to go chase something and not be there.
The current down there, because of the narrowing of the river part of it,
And how close it is to the dam.
yeah, it does not stir up as bad because you've always got that rushing water
Okay.
kind of, so
Yeah.
it keeps it moving. In your backs of your creeks and stuff, that's where
where
your
it's gonna change.
water runs in like off of runoff,
Yeah.
all your out of your ditches or off the roadways or whatever, that's where your water's gonna get muddied up. And a lot of times, you can take like Old Hickory is one of them that does not clear up a whole lot. I mean, it's a mud hole. But if you can find that cleaner water, well, then when it gets dirty, when you got that changing of that color, a lot of times them fish will set in that dirty water and attack what comes in the clean water.
Oh.
It's kind of a strategic little move that they make there. It's
It'd
kind
be
of
like being in a blind for a hunter or something.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
It's
sitting
like-
out there,
it's
they
like-
can't see you.
They're setting up around their prey, and then they're going.
Yeah,
after
it's
it.
also kind of like rocks and like he's talking about the brush piles. So these fish, a lot of times, I was able to sit there with that live scope, and everybody on Facebook and whatever, or YouTube, whatever, it's cheating. All these older guys like it's cheating. These guys need to learn how to fish and all this. Well, these brush piles, you can see these fish setting in them brush piles. And when he throws and he brings his bait, you can see his bait coming by it. Them fish will come out, and I mean it's just awesome. They come out and they just smoke it, dude.
It's almost
It's
like fishing in a tank, in a glass tank.
It is.
Because so let me ask you this.
But they don't bite every time.
Right.
It's like maybe 1 out of 500.
And that's the thing that he done. Like the one where he knew that there was some big, solid smallmouth at. It was in a spot where there was a lot of current, and there wasn't really nothing above us to break any of that current. So the boat had to sit there. He just put it on spot lock, and he knew where the brush pile was just because he had it like kind of marked, like throw out that way. Well, he sat there for over an hour, throwing, changing bait colors, changing the scope heads, changing different weights, just to try to get them to trigger.
Throw a jig in there and just drag it out.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he threw
Live
so
scope
many
was
different
not really
things.
like the only thing that I used that day. I mean, I threw top water. We got up in some shallower creeks.
There's
and
times you'll
stuff.
throw something out there just to throw it out there, just to give them a different look.
Yep.
And then come back with something else different.
Yep.
But knowing that one bait's not going to do anything, you're just trying to get something out
Yeah.
there to go.
I'm just trying to get a trigger strike.
Yeah.
It's all about the reaction. And
So yesterday when I was at Del Holla, dude, I was sitting there, and I'm not as good as him as far as you've got to line that scope thing up where you throw right there straight ahead, and then you got to be able to keep the boat the way you need it to. You got to keep that head pointed to it where you can watch your bait come by the fish. You got to be able to see the fish. It's a lot of different things. He's a whole lot better than I am, especially if the wind's blowing a little bit. I can't do it. But yesterday, I mean, they come out, them fish would shoot up off the bottom, and that bait would be 10 or 15 foot. At Del Holla, these clear lakes, they can see that bait a lot further away. So you don't want, like what he's got right now is kind of a natural color, and it's not bright. You don't want a bright color on a clear lake. It's gonna scare 'em.
It's very obvious, you know. It would
Talking about
scare
this one?
Yeah,
yeah.
you want it to be like a green pumpkin.
So
you
that's,
know.
that's like a natural shad. Of course, it's got like a white belly. You see, some other
A
colors
little
like
shiny
that.
on top, which is like
Yeah.
a shad would be.
Yeah, that's like a green shad. There's one like a gizzard, and it's got more black on the top of it. And all these are like white bellied. And then you go to lakes like Pickwick and Kentucky Lake and stuff. That those baits are really good there. You just need something a little bit more brighter because the water's a little bit more dingy. So
And then sometimes you'll have like a brown,
maybe
or
yeah,
not a brown, but like a bluish color to them.
like a blue
No.
or like a little bit of a chartreuse belly maybe. A sexy shad color is more lighter
Sexy
blue.
shad color.
That's what I've always
Ex-
thought.
Explain to people that don't understand what a sexy shad color is.
So a sexy shad is like a color scheme that was brought up by like one of the best fishermen
KVD.
ever, Kevin Van Dam.
Yep.
And it's like blue at the top, and then there's a little yellow in the middle in the mix, in the middle of that minnow bait, and then it's a white belly. And so it's like the most basic, like original shad that is made. Like that was like the first shad color that pretty much come out. And so that's what it's called, sexy shad.
So when you're going back and forth and you're trying to find that optimal lure to draw them out,
Yeah.
how much do you vary, or do you vary your jig weight
Okay, so
and just try different
you
methods that way?
you like read my mind.
We've been around a while.
Yeah.
Look at that, Kyle.
So
Look at that. Hey, do you want to go fish with us in a while? I mean, it sounds like you're a pro, dude.
yeah. So something that I really picked up the past year or so, throwing the Minna style baits, or even like a jig head bait like this, or a jig and spoon, whatever it may be. Mainly, we'll talk about this first. These jig heads and stuff is really crucial to.
He's going. I think he's going to get up and show him.
Yeah.
Like show him what you're talking about. Each
So-
one.
Okay.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I say a jig head, that's kind of what I'm talking about right there. I mean, it's just a simple. That's about as simple as you can get.
We'll show that bait real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was talking
So
about.
this is what I would rig it up on, and that's just a minnow. That's like a 5-inch wing minnow, and I'll talk about the wings here in a minute. But the head.
Now, how heavy is that one?
So these are both the same size. These
Uh-huh.
are a 1/4 ounce.
Okay.
And so, most of the time I'll either throw a 1/4, or I'll throw
3/16.
3/16, or if I want to get heavier, I'll throw a 3/8. That's about as heavy as I go. And so the way these fish are set up in the water column is really important, because you don't want something that you're gonna throw at them and it's just gonna scare them. You don't want that. You want something like a 1/4 right here, a pretty light bait, especially on a big piece of plastic like that.
Yeah.
You want something that's not really going to flutter, but it's kind of just going to drop really slow and kind of stay in front of their face as much as possible. And so like a lighter jig head is going to be more subtle. It's going to be more natural falling in the water. And then a lot of times, like when I switch to a 3/8, it'll be because those fish are a lot deeper. And they're moving, they're schooling, they're fishing on. I mean, they're schooling on bait. They're always moving, right? And so I want something that is going to be able to get down there as fast as possible. And so it kind of just really depends. Yeah,
So
that
there's
one right
that's
there.
set up.
Well,
Yeah.
so where that head is, where it ties on at, that right there is actually what it's going to be like in the water.
Yeah.
With the
So-
hook up like that.
Yep.
Yes, it's going to be straight up like that.
And so
So you got a
so
legless
So you
thing
can't
going.
get around those tree limbs and stuff. Like it will get hung
Right.
very
Yep.
easily.
Right.
So that's what the live scope. You're just kind of you can
This is-
see those tree limbs.
this is
and
a
you can
really
just kind of
this
work
is
it
a
right
really
over the top
open
of it.
water bait. That's a 3/8 weight right there. These
Wow.
these are two of the same baits. This is
So
these are
what-
both
what he does-
5-inch, flukes.
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
gonna
that's-
let that
yeah.
again.
But
what he does is when he gets that bait down there in front of him, this is all he does. He just wiggles it a little bit.
and what this
He will wind it just a little bit to keep it right in front of their face, right above them, just right above them. Because
So you're just annoying them. That's what you're
yes,
trying to do.
so fish's eyes is up here,
Yeah.
so they go up to eat. Now they will go down on the bottom and suck something up off the bottom, like a crawfish or something like that, and that's where your jig bite. That's where it comes in at. Your jig bite. They suck it up in there, and then you set the hook, and then they shoot them up through the ceiling. Y'all seen the video where the guy gets shot up through the ceiling? It's pretty funny. That's what he feels like.
these baits right here, so they make a couple different style of minnow baits. This is definitely probably one of my favorite. They make this. You can get these at Bass Pro. This is one of the most simplest they make. They make 5-inch, they make 4-inch, 3-inch. The bait size is really a difference because it depends on what kind of forage is in the lake that you're fishing. Del Holla, you can fish some of these bigger baits because the shad's bigger. A lake that does really good for some of the smaller baits, the 3 to 4 inch, is like Nickajack. I throw some of the smaller baits there. But this right here, this is a 5-inch, and when he was showing the shaking part, what that bait is doing when it's shaking is it's kind of either it's doing that and that tail's really moving, and it's got a really small wobble to it, and those wings right there is keeping that bait as flat as possible above.
They're like
that bait.
stabilizers then.
Front and back, this
And
way.
so sometimes if I'm really on a good bite and I get dialed in on something, I'll have the wings cut off sometimes just to get more roll on
Oh,
that
really?
bait. Yeah, and so yeah, I mean that's right. Like I said, it's a 3/8 weight right there. Like this is one
That's
I'll be throwing
XPS,
today.
right?
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
that other
this-
one XPS?
Yep, both of them.
Okay.
are.
So you don't.
These are both Bass Pro companies.
So how did you figure out cutting off the wings on the side would sit there and give you more roll? Is this something that someone told you about?
Well, I mean,
Or
I can
is
just
it-
drop it in the water, like to where I can see,
Yeah.
and kind of just shake my rod, and I can just see I can see that hook right there. I can see that hook going like that right there. And so that's another thing. When your bait's sitting there rolling a lot more, it can be, the downside of this is it can be kind of hard to hook those fish. So a lot of times I'll get fish to come up and like hit my bait like a lot, but I won't be able to hang them.
Good
a
hook
lot of
set.
times. And then a lot of times I'll hang them and it's down their throat. I mean, it just kind of really depends.
Is
you
that
know.
extra roll supposed to give it kind of the injured?
Yes.
We
Bait
call
look
that
to it.
choked.
Yeah.
They've got it choked.
Yeah. So like there'd be days, and the state championship I fished last year. There was days. It was a 2-day tournament, and I literally could have won the state championship. I mean, I was around the fish to do it. And,
He actually hooked the
Yeah.
fish that he had to win. He had to win in weights. I'm telling you. And at Del Holla, which that's where the state championship was in May, they've got that slot. They've got that where you can only keep one fish per angler that's over 21 inches
I think we talked about that.
and one
last time.
under 21 inches. So
Okay.
you don't want to focus all your attention on smallmouth because it's so hard to catch that one over 21.
And of course, you can only keep 2 of them anyways.
Well,
so
we had found largemouth, and that's what we was focused on. He did not lose a single smallmouth in the tournament,
I didn't lose a single largemouth
And he could-
in practice either.
and he could not keep a largemouth pinned.
Ah.
He would set the hook, and Eliana was there, with the net ready to go. As soon as that fish come out to make its first jump, spit it out. And I mean, I could see the fish. I know the fish was 3 to 4 pounds, each one of them that got off like that. This was on Friday, and this was on Saturday, both days.
on
He
Thursday,
had a chance.
On Thursday, I was on a good little area that these fish was setting up. It was June, so these fish was setting on. Up
Oh yeah,
on
it was
grass.
first week of
Yeah.
June. Yep.
These fish was setting up on grass, and grass it holds more oxygen in
Okay.
the summertime,
Makes
and
sense.
it's a lot cooler. They're able to breathe a little bit better.
And your
a lot of
your
times
bait,
it's where the bait's at.
they go and they eat the plankton and all that stuff
yeah.
from all the off that. That's another thing when you was talking about when the water moves. That's what the fish. That's why they chase the bait, is because the bait is chasing the plankton. So all of them kind of work with each other. It's kind of like the
Circle of life.
what is it, the mouse and the snake eats the mouse, and then the bird eats the thing, and then and then the hunter shoots the bird, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
get
don't know
what
if
you're
that was the
saying.
right order. But
Oh, we
that's
don't
a good
we don't
analogy.
shoot an eagle. I mean, we don't do that.
No, definitely not that.
But like I said, I mean, those fish was set up. These good, solid largemouth fish was set up on the backside of this grass, on the side that's not facing the river, more towards the bank. And this grass that was in Del Holla is what you call milfoil,
Yeah.
and so it's really tall. And so I could see on the live scope, I could see it. I could see those fish set up behind it, chasing bait, moving around. And so I actually caught one about 5.5 pounds, a largemouth, in practice. And then of course there was some more around. So I was around the right fish, and of course I had a couple on, but I don't
Couldn't
know
get
what
it.
it was.
Couldn't land 'em.
And that's the thing. I mean, I was using a bait like this, and there would be times during the tournament where I would hook a smallmouth and I'd get it in the boat, and of course I wouldn't be able to keep it, but it would have my bait choked, like literally down its throat, and then there would be, I'd catch a largemouth or something, and I'd get it in the boat, and it'd be hooked in the bottom of the mouth, or it wouldn't even get hooked at all, and it'd jump off. So it was just, it really, that's like how, like down, that's how hard it is to hook some of these fish with these baits
Right.
and get them in the boat. And another bait, if we got time, is this. This is a Rapala jigging wrap, and I used this a lot when I went to a really deep lake in Alabama and fished a high school / college tournament. And this lake is called Lake Martin. It's in Auburn, Alabama, and this lake is really deep, and they hold spotted bass, your Kentucky spotted bass, but they call these the Alabama spots, and they get a whole lot bigger than around here, and so a lot of those fish are set up really deep in schools and stuff. So I like to throw something like this that really helped me, catch a lot of fish in the tournament. This is the ripping wrap, and of course, I mean, it's got hooks all over it, right? But it's also this is a seventh eighth ounce right here, and it gets
Again,
down.
It's
there.
heavy.
You've got the barb going up
Yep.
instead of coming down, except for
so-
the one on the belly.
Yep. And so
Okay.
this right here, basically, as you can tell, there's two wings back there, and I'll show them. You can see those.
Y'all need to feel how heavy that thing is. It's
Yeah,
it's
I'll
crazy.
let y'all hold it.
Now this will be you put this on a bait caster.
So,
because it's so heavy.
so this right here, I mean, this is a spinning reel, and for this bait in particular, the minnow bait, you're gonna throw something with some lighter line, especially for the clear lakes. Of course, you don't want the fish seeing your line, but of course, this is the braid to fluorocarbon setup that I got, and so yeah, I mean, that's what I use for that, and I like to keep my drag really loose on it. That way, that fish can, I guess, get
yep.
hooked better. But on this is
So that one's constantly moving.
yes.
That
So
was-
this one, I'm dropping it down in front of them. I'll make a maybe 60 feet cast max. That's what how I
Okay.
judge that. And I'll drop that bait down there. And while that bait's falling, it's going back and forth. It's like searching almost because them wings.
Okay.
And so once I get my slack up and I'm able to keep this bait above those schools of fish, that bait is sitting there searching like that. I'm popping my rod like that right there, and my bait is sitting there constantly, just sitting in front of those schools of fish, and
So that pop is what's keeping it at that level.
Yep,
Because
and it's
that
sitting
looks
there.
like that would drop fast.
Yes, and I've actually I've got they make a Magnum too, and it's a little bit heavier. I can't remember how big it is, but
Let pass that around. Let
Yeah.
them feel how heavy that is.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
We'll
Jack
do.
Kyle, don't poke yourself.
Hey, you just stuck me, man.
but
He done it on purpose.
Yeah.
I seen him.
but speaking of fish not getting hooked well, that bait right there.
I did it too.
That bait right there, you've got to be really careful. You can hook those fish really deep, and by I mean deep, I mean 60, 70 foot of water, and I got to set the hook pretty good to get them hooked, and they don't got it really well, and that's just because how fired up they are to grab it, so they're not really caring about getting hooked. They don't even know it's got hooks on it, and so once I pull into them and I'm cranking them up, they like to jump a lot of times
Oh, yeah.
with this bait just to try to spit it because it's treble hooks, and they realize that they've got 16 hooks in them, right? And so I try my best to when I see them coming up and I see them down there, I try to get in the boat as quick as I can.
So on their jump, he's throwing them in the boat.
yeah,
And
and
it don't matter if they
Trying to
come off in
time
the
it.
bottom of the
Gotcha.
boat.
yeah,
Right,
Gotcha.
they're in the boat.
basically, there's been times where I just pull it up and while they're jumping, I just move my rod a little bit and just let them jump
You
in the
use
boat.
that force
And,
to-
yeah, so
So we was at Del Hollow. We was preparing. Yeah, we was camping.
yeah,
So fall break, he had a tournament, and we pulled up on a point, and I hung a good smallmouth, and that joker, I was on this side of the boat. He come around the trolling motor, and then he shot up, and when he jumped, I just kind of pulled him, and he just went, floop, jumped right in the boat, like.
And,
jumped right in
and
the boat.
mom was sitting in the passenger seat, and I mean it was flopping everywhere.
Yeah.
She was over there reading her book or whatever, but I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it gets pretty hectic sometimes.
And I'm gonna tell you, we
Should have timed it right in her lap.
oh yeah,
That would've
and,
we
well, there's
fished-
been times where I
he threw them all over me.
yeah like
on
they
my
would
face
jump
and stuff.
up like they're in a tournament and stuff, and I gotta get them in the boat.
Yeah.
I mean I'll just pull them in there, and if it lands in his lap or whatever, I mean it's just part of it. But
We're going to take a small break. When we come back, we'll continue talking fishing with Eli Baird, Teddy Baird, with the, what do you call it? Is it Sumner County Fishing
Sumner.
Team?
It is now,
Okay.
yes sir.
With the Sumner
And we'll talk
County,
about that a little bit.
with the Sumner County Fishing Team. But you're listening to episode 6 of Off the Rails Sports Saturday here on PSN Network.
Driving down the road or on a curvy lane, When you had too much to drink and can't spell your own name, you should have made a plan to get yourself home safe. But you chose to drive home instead, and you should be ashamed. Oh, no, 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 why'd you go thinking you should drive? Could have called a friend or cab to get you home tonight.
Keep the holidays happy, Tennessee. Booze it and lose it. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Graphic Obsessions on Main is in a larger space and has more to choose from than ever. Tons of Panther designs we can print in minutes. Tons of inventory you can grab right off the rack today. And the amazing new hat bar, where you can customize your own hat. See a design you love but not in your size? We'll print it in just minutes. So many unique gift items right in the store. With the holidays fast approaching, remember, shop early at Graphic Obsessions on Main in Portland. Graphic Obsessions on Main is your Portland Panther football headquarters for Panther apparel. Don't see it in your size? Just ask, and we'll print it on your size in minutes. From t-shirts and caps to hoodies and more, Graphic Obsessions on Main has what you need to support the Panther football season. Stop in today or visit our Facebook page. Graphic Obsessions on Main in Portland.
Touchdown!
Open Tuesday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturdays 9:30 to 3.
Well, welcome back, Panther fans, to Off the Rails, episode 6 of Sports Saturday. Here with the Sumner County fishing team, Eli Baird, the fisherman, and Teddy Baird, the captain, the boat captain. During the break, I asked about the live scope. We talked about the live scope.
We need a video of that. I'd
Sir?
like to see that thing.
Yeah.
When we do the video, y'all, we'll show you. We can
Okay.
show you out there.
Yeah.
I
kinda
want
what
to see
we're
one
doing.
in action. I want to see that little fish and the lure coming by. That would just be freaky. I'd
Okay.
never
Well,
seen nothing like that before.
Today, I mean, if I get on, a
That's cool.
school,
Yeah, I can video
I'll
it.
have him
That would
video
be
the
cool,
screen
yeah.
and send
And
it
I'll
to
send
y'all.
it to you.
You've got, now you still doing TikToks? You still got your TikTok
Yeah.
channel?
Yeah.
What is your Go ahead and throw it out there. Or your TikTok
So
channel.
my socials and everything on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then I've tried to start doing YouTube, but I always forget to film tournaments and stuff. But it's Baird Fishing. Every single one of them are BAIRD and then fishing. So
So on all that stuff, you don't have any pictures of the live scope or anything like that. So if you go out there today and you record,
You remember
it
me
could be
telling
the
you that I
first
had a new phone?
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
on
I
that.
lost some videos, I lost some pictures and stuff, but I've got stuff from 15 years ago
Exactly.
that popped back up on there. You know,
Exactly. I don't get it.
That's where Facebook's nice because you can always go back and grab the pictures you've lost. Oh man, I remember that.
goodness.
But anyway,
Yeah, I got there fishing. I follow you in case
Yeah.
in case you wonder who that is. I actually follow you on the Firestorm deal,
So
which isn't Firestorm anymore. It's,
yeah,
I don't even know who we are.
all right, so that tournament right there, that was last year's Lake Martin tournament that he fished the first time he fished down there with a college kid. That college kid was
from last year.
Adrian.
Yeah, Adrian. He fished
What's
at
his
Murray
last name?
State University.
What's his last name?
Uruso.
Russo. So, really excellent kid. First, I'll tell you that. But very, very good with live scope. Like he is
really
probably
good.
one of the top 2 guys that fishes Kentucky Lake for live scope, and that's what Kentucky Lake's turned into because of the smallmouth.
And there's professional pros that live around there, and he's better than them at that.
Yeah.
And he's
so how long has let's talk about the live scope. How long has live scope been around? I know everything changes and everything.
I'd say about
7 years, I think.
7 years?
Yeah, 6 or 7 years, I think.
Because you go back, I remember my brother fishing. He kind of got into tournament fishing a little bit, just around the Cookville area, Del Hollow, and all that stuff that's around Cookville and everything. And back then, you had a what did you have? You had depth. You had a depth chart. Not a depth chart, but a depth scanner and everything.
2D sonar.
And
So
then you
before
figure out,
that,
what
that they had the color graph.
So
So that's what Bill Dance had, and it was a a little thing that went around and around, and it told you the clarity of the water, and that gave you options on what color baits to use for that clarity. They had a little wire that was connected to it, and they would drop it down if they could see about, like, if they thought the fish was going to be close to the bottom, they would drop it to the bottom, raise it up a little bit, and then they would get the clarity of the water. So it might be chartreuse down there, but up here it might be black and blue.
Wow.
So that was the first
Yeah.
thing that they started doing. And then they started using that
Contour.
no, the blinker, and that gave them the depth. And what that done was a sonar that went down and hit the bottom and come back and told them. So it was just a blinker that gave you a what a depth was. So running down the lake, and it was the only time it was used, running down the lake.
Yeah.
And then they went to 2D sonar, and that's what I was going to talk to you about when I brung up the live scope. You know, I kind of wanted y'all to say that this live scope was cheating. That's what y'all had heard. Everything was cheating.
Well, I
There
can
ain't no
there was some
such
people
thing as
say,
cheating.
But the sonar was the same
A
way.
bomb, maybe. If you throw TNT in the water,
Yeah.
that might be
And
cheating.
we so
Other
for
than
the
that, there ain't
so
no
for the
cheating.
2D sonar, we was late to the live scope game. Like we was like 3 years late. I mean, we was fishing against people that was already getting good at it, and so we had 2D sonar and like side imaging and stuff like that, like the basic stuff. And I used 2D sonar to use with like jigging spoons and metal baits and stuff that would read good on 2D.
yeah,
And I would catch fish on 2D sonar because I'd be able to see my bait.
But it's got a pulsate out, pulsate back,
Okay.
read it, and then it comes on the screen.
Gotcha.
This live scope is live.
Yeah.
And I mean that's where I'm saying it is just it's unbelievable when you actually see that fish come out of that brush pile and just smoke that bait. I mean it's awesome. And this was made for crappie fishermen. That's when live scope, that's why it was made, was crappie fishermen.
Huh.
And then
Really?
they made it for crappie fishermen. Because
interesting.
you get that
big
brush pile.
Yeah.
And you throw it out there and you watch your bait, you let your little minnow fall down there, and then boom, they get it and you pull it right back up. But
Catch more limbs than you do.
yeah,
crappie.
It started out to where it would just be on like a pole or something, not on the trolling motor. And so when it's on like a pole or something that's not your trolling motor, it's just sitting there. You can sit there and almost like target lock what you want to be on, by your hand
Yeah.
or by a click of a button or whatever. And then these pros and a lot of the guys that was sponsored by Garmin and Lowrance and Humminbird, these companies that make them, they started putting them on the trolling motors and started making mounts and stuff for the trolling motor. And so every time you move the trolling motor, and then they were like, man, I mean, I could start throwing it whatever fish I wanted to
underneath docks.
underneath docks.
That's huge.
Through brush piles, whatever it may be. I can start fishing, not just crappie. I can go out and just fish these bass. So
So if you want to talk, let's talk. I got a thing that just kind of popped in my head. I'm not calling it cheating because sports need to evolve, okay, and all you're doing is evolving with technology, okay. But it just got into my head. You could almost take fishing as the same thing as bodybuilding. Do you ever see a tournament, or even baseball? Let's talk baseball here. You ever see a tournament that's going to happen to where it's going to be a natural tournament and you can't use
They already
technology?
do.
They already got it. So that's just like having a wood bat tournament, correct, Coach?
Yep.
You
Yeah,
can't use
that's-
aluminum. You can only use wood bat type of thing.
That's
and,
more of a money grab kind of deal going on.
well,
with
just
that.
but
They're trying to make you think if you come to this wood bat tournament, you're going to get picked by college. Well, you ain't going to hit no wood bat in college, so what's the point? It's just showing that you
You're
ain't
not
as good as
hitting
you
wood
thought
till you
you
get-
were. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
so like the tournaments and stuff. Like I was reading on Facebook. I was reading like Center Hill's Facebook page or whatever. People was talking about tomorrow they're having a no live scope tournament. There's a fishing
Okay.
club, and they're doing a no live scope tournament out of one of the bridges tomorrow. And so, and then they've
Because I
got
can see a
bunch
lot of
different
local
ones.
anglers sitting there going,
Oh yeah.
Well, the key is
I
how much does one
I
of these
wanna-
things cost? Can I ask that?
I mean,
How many Christmases does that take up to get?
So we got it. We got it 2
yeah,
Christmases
it's
ago.
hefty.
It's
So we'll get it in the next 3 Christmases.
So
we won't
It
get
has
nothing, I promise.
gotten a lot cheaper though.
It's
because
basically
it's been out
the
for so long.
the head that you'll see out there when we go out there.
Yeah.
That's on the down there by the motor of the trailer motor. That unit down there, that little piece is basically $1,200-$1,300,
Really?
and then your screen can be anywhere from
you're gonna end up having a 40-inch
Yeah.
screen
I
on
think
your
well,
boat.
the biggest thing. So our tournament trail put out a new rule last year.
Bassmaster did.
Bassmaster, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like the whole ordeal,
Yeah.
Bassmaster, from the pros to the high school kids, put out a rule of how big your screens can
How
be.
many inches?
How many inches your screens can
Now
be.
this is total for the boat. Like if
your
you've
back
got
screen.
3 10-inch, that's 30 inches.
Okay.
Well, some of these guys has got a 16-inch screen, and then they might have a 10 at their console. So the 16 is that what Mason's is
Yeah, it's
ADT?
16.
okay.
Yeah.
So there is a 16-inch ADT, and so it's basically your flat screen TV, and it's put up there.
The biggest they make is 22 inches. That's the biggest.
When we was in Oklahoma for that World Finals out
yeah.
there, I drove his dad's boat, and it had that thing up there. When we was going down the lake,
That thing is just sitting there.
that thing sitting there just doing that. I thought, man, that thing is gonna nail one of us in the face. I mean, it's just it's sitting up there and it's doing this right here the
But
whole
here
time.
Here in a minute, I'll talk to you why I like the screen we have and not a bigger one. I mean, I can talk to you about it right now, I guess, since we're talking about it.
The little-
We're
I just
going-
wonder
we-
if
we have
the
no-
one would fit on my sup at the beach. That'd be cool. Getting out, you probably want to come back in real quick if you could see what you can see in the ocean water.
Yeah, that is very true. But
Well,
I'll
Going
Garmin-
back in.
Garmin, I feel like Garmin has got the best live scope for the quality and the.
it's all about the eyes. It's all about what your eyes read. Like
Yeah.
seriously, the college angler that I fished with, he goes to Blue Mountain Christian in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Yeah, that's who he
with him
fished with this year.
this year, yeah. And he had a 16-inch Lowrance. This is a completely different company than what we use.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, including myself, I mean, I've said it myself, I can't lie. I didn't really like how they read. I mean, they just seemed like they didn't read as clean as the Garmin would.
It's going to be the same thing as a person going, I like an iPhone, I like an
Yep,
Android.
exactly.
It's how it's all,
Yep.
what you're used to and what you're
Mhm.
used to seeing.
And so that kid, he was pretty solid at it.
Yeah.
So me and him fished with that screen most of the tournament, and like it was probably one of the cleanest reading sonars I've ever seen. Like almost cleaner than mine. Like maybe more cleaner. And it's just crazy. It's all about the settings. It's all about your eyes and what they see. And then sometimes it's all about the sun, like reading down on the screen.
Yeah.
There's different settings, different color schemes is what they like to call them. And sometimes I have to change those color schemes just because
The sun.
cloudy.
Yep,
if
yep.
it's cloudy, dark. If it's sunny, so that's a really
It's just
key
like your
factor.
phone. If you're outside with your phone,
And
you know,
then-
you've got a setting on it.
Yep.
You'll have to change
can-
the brightness or
yep.
darkness of it because of what you got going
Yep.
on outside.
and
And
so
if you forget, you'll think your phone's broke.
yep.
It happened to me once. I got to a baseball game, man, and I just, in my car, I had it really low because I didn't need it. And I got to the game, and I thought, my dadgum phone was broke, and I didn't. Never mind. But anyway,
And so they've
there should
also-
be a warning built in on your phone that if
Oh,
the
yeah.
display goes away, it's because you're dumb. It ain't got nothing to do with your phone.
So they've got and then another thing besides the brightness, they've got like what's it called? Like
Gain?
color, like gain. And it's how
Sensitivity
it's how
and gain.
sensitive it's reading. So like if I'm fishing a really rocky lake, or like a really deep clear lake, something that it's going to be pretty easy to see, like Del Hall, Center Hill, I'm going to turn that gain down, the sensitivity down.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry, it's the opposite. I'm going to turn the sensitivity up, just
Because you won't get all the reverb from it.
I'm not going to get any trash, so I'm going to turn it up. That way I can read and I can see fish. Because on these clear lakes, the farther out you see those fish, the more chance you are going to be able to catch them. Because those fish are going to see your boat. I mean, it's just part of it.
Yeah.
And so it's the far. So if I set my distance to 110 foot, which is a lot of times where I keep it. But just because, like with a spinning reel or bait cast, that's about how far a good long cast for me is. So I know where I'm casting, right? And so
it's kind of like golf.
Yep.
You got to figure out how far you
Yep.
can cast, how far each club you hit it.
And you're looking on that screen to see how far that fish is away from your boat. So you
And
gotta
another
kind of
thing
gauge
with
that.
distance and stuff. You want to make sure you have it set where you can throw past that. You don't want to, especially with these minnow baits right here. You don't want to throw on top of these fish, or they are gonna get spooked. They're gonna get scared. You want to be able to throw past them. That way they don't see your bait drop in the water. They want to. That way when they see it for the very first time they see your bait, it's sitting there just rolling past them, right?
Right.
And so, and just so live scope. I mean, there's a lot to it than you think than just going out there and just throwing at fish. I mean, there's a lot to it. You can. You got guys like Drew Gill, one of the pros, who bed fishes with it and fishes shallow water with it. A lot of people don't fish shallow water with it just because they want to fish the deep, stuff and be able to throw with the fish. Well, they bed fish with it and set it up to, I think it's called perspective mode, and where it's set up to showing the bottom and what beds that the fish make to spawn and stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff to it for sure.
Man, fishing is. I was just sitting there thinking.
The technology. You brung up something a while ago though about the different sports, and you brung up the wood bat thing.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up that live scope is just another tool.
Yeah.
That we are able to use. I feel like that it's no different than when I took him to go get hitting lessons for baseball. I took that money and I put that towards him to be able to hit better or to be able to pitch better. Well, did I make an advantage for him? I made an advantage for him, but he still had to do it. I can buy 3 of those live scopes and put them on there.
Oh, dude.
That don't mean you catch a fish.
That's
Just
right.
like
I
you
still
said
gotta
that one
catch the
time,
fish.
they were sitting there, and for whatever reason, they just wasn't reacting the way you want them to do.
Yeah,
Just like yesterday,
so-
they would swim up there to it, and it was like I had a piece of dynamite on the end of it, and I done that, and they shattered because that's what it looked like. They'd run up there and the smell of it, and then just take off. They'd either take off and run down to the bottom, whatever. They didn't want nothing to do with it. They never hit that bait.
Yep.
So there was something that I was doing, or something that my bait didn't look natural to them to bite.
I bet Teddy had his cologne. on
Yeah,
his hand in it.
I know it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have enough cheese on it.
Yeah.
for the mouse, the bait. But there's also something else I was going to say. You was talking about which tournaments cannot use it. So Bassmaster last year, they allowed it in all their tournaments. This year they took and flipped a coin for each tournament that they was going to have for the Elite Series to see if they was going to be able to use live scope or not. So they'd done half their tournaments with live scope, half their tournaments without live scope.
This is the professionals.
Yes, the elites.
I
That's the
gotcha,
ones that.
I gotcha.
That's the ones that like Gerald Swindle.
Yeah.
He's in.
Yeah.
Hunter Shyrock and all them. They're in them. Now Jacob Wheeler, Dustin Connell. And Dustin Connell is one of his favorites, and Jacob Wheeler, because they do a podcast. And he's big on that. We sit in the house and watch it all the time, and they're just funny. They're good guys. They're from.
They've got a lot of really good stories, and all these pros do, especially them. They all room together and stuff
For the
on all these
tournaments.
tournaments, and they travel around the country. I mean, they got a lot of great stories. So
Because if you think about it, if you're out there fishing, everybody's trying to do the same thing. I understand you're not going to sit there the day of and say you two are in a boat, me and Kyle's in a boat. You're not going to sit there and holler at Kyle and go, "Hey, change your color." And
You
but
still got to catch them.
But yeah, you still got to catch them.
Mhm.
But you can sit there and go, "Hey, do this bait here."
But we do. That's
know.
what the team thing is. We want to talk about the Sumner County fishing team, and one thing that we was able to do for us to, I don't really want to say I got rid of the Portland fishing team. I just want to say that it's kind of put on the back burner, because I hope that somebody, and if you're somebody out there that you've got family that wants to do this, contact me and I will let you take over the Portland fishing team. Because yes, my daughter is a freshman this year, and hopefully she will fish maybe a little bit. I don't know. But we went with the Sumner County fishing team. Josh Harris is the actual coach. He is a teacher, and he's the robotics guy also at Beach High School.
Okay.
If you ever notice Josh Harris, he's about 7'5" or something. He's just the tallest guy that you ever see in the school. But he's a great guy. He does so much for these kids. He kind of had this kind of laid in his lap. It was the Beach High School fishing team. He had a vision to make it for any elementary kid. So he even,
wow.
he went to the elementary side, like second grade. he's had some kids that started like in 2nd or 3rd grade and went up. So he started the Sumner County fishing team where he could have that elementary side of it and the middle school side of it. So he had some kids that was going to be leaving the Sumner County team, and their high school was going to be like Hendersonville or Station Camp. They wasn't going to be at Beach, because of all the split up and stuff down in there.
Yeah.
Well, them kids wasn't going to be able to fish because Hendersonville and Station Camp was not active on their fishing team.
Yeah.
So he went to each one of those coaches. We actually had a Sumner County coaches team meeting. Portland, Gallatin, Hendersonville, Station Camp, Beach. We come together, and those 2 coaches at Hendersonville and Station Camp decided that, hey, we will just step back. Yes, you can have the Sumner County fishing team, and that'll take care of anybody across that don't have a fishing team, okay? Because we do have some kids from White House that's in there. White House had a team a long time ago before we started ours. So that's where the Sumner County team come from, and now it's Sumner County team. We've got about 20 high school boats. We have won the team of the tournament like 3 times, I think. We won the first one at Watts Bar. We had 1st or 2nd place, and I know you had 7th.
Yep.
But it's the top 3 teams, top 3 teams of each school is what they do, and they take those combined weights of all 3 of them, and they see who's got the most weight, and then that's who the school.
Gotcha.
So we got actually $1,000 gift card for that. We got another $1,000 gift card for the second one, and we got another $1,000 for the third one. So that money goes back into the school funds and stuff. Some that they've done, Josh has done ever since he started a team. A high school kid, a senior, don't pay any entry fees. So all of his entry fees and stuff was paid for this year. I did not know that when we done that. We took our funds from Portland, what we had left over. We actually donated it to the Sumner County team because they're willing to help everybody. But I sent Mr. Woods an email, probably a little later than I should have, but I just expressed to him how grateful I was to him. Mm-hmm. It hurt me that Eli couldn't finish his senior year at Portland High School, but this is the best thing that happened to us. Where we was able to start a new trail, with them, and we're fishing a couple TBFs. TBFs is what we fished the World Finals in Oklahoma. That was a new experience for us too. Grand Lake. The TBFs is all over East Tennessee, more or less. They don't go to Kentucky Lake.
Yeah,
They
try
stay
to
central and
yeah.
east.
But,
And they fish Loudon and what's the other one? What's some of the other ones over
Lake and,
Norse, and what's that one you don't like?
Milton Hill. Can't stand those lakes.
It's
So
all
you
East
said you was
Tennessee.
partnered with a kid from Station Camp. Is he your partner through every one of these tournaments?
Yeah, so,
you're
So
the 2-man team.
No, you're partnering with him through the Tennessee Bass Nation.
Yeah,
the
so-
Bassmaster part.
the like the Bass Federation.
Yeah,
I'm actually
yeah.
partnered with a kid that fishes for Sumner County. It's just a different kid,
Okay.
and the reason why we did that is this kid, the kid that I'm fishing with for the school. I mean, we fish a lot of tournaments, and so he kind of wanted to use that time to take a break when we weren't fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked it up with another kid for the different trail.
Okay.
And so this trail right here, it's a little bit different. It's a smaller trail. Not many boats fish it. But basically what I'm doing this for is so I'm able to fish the World Finals and the National Championship for the Major League Fishing side, which this year it'll be at Cumberland Lake in Kentucky.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and that'll be in June, and I'm pretty excited for that one. That'll be a really good tournament.
It's a clear lake, just like Del Hollow.
And
It basically fishes like
so,
that.
so I
I'm sorry,
basically,
go ahead.
you're good. I basically have to fish about 6 tournaments, just to be there. Like literally, I mean, of course, I'm gonna try and do good and win.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm there to win, like to win some money, But I'm just wanting to make sure that I fish enough tournaments so I can get to where I can fish the nationals with this new
Right.
other partner. So that's the plan for that. So and then those start back up. I think I actually have one in like February or something, and it'll be at Del Hollow. So that'll be the next one for that.
And then it'll go to May. June.
June.
Yeah, and that one will be in June. Of course, we'll be fishing in like February. I think we got a bunch in March, some in April. So.
I just want to remind people who's listening in, we do have a live chat. If you have questions, please submit them on Facebook or on YouTube. Kyle's sitting here with the app open right now. If you want to submit a live question, if you got a question about fishing, you got a question for Teddy or for Eli about fishing or anything like that, you can go ahead and submit it while you're watching or listening to it on YouTube. You should have a live chat available right there. Go in there, submit your question. We should be able to see it, and we can answer that. We're going to take a small break again. When we come back, we'll continue to talk with Teddy and Eli about the fishing, and I want to get into Eli's mind about when he tournament fishes and get some questions answered on that one. But you're listening to episode 6 of Off the Rails Sports Saturday here on PSN Network.
Driving down the road or on a curvy lane, when you had too much to drink and can't spell your own name, you should have made a plan to get yourself home safe, but you chose to drive home instead and you should be ashamed. Oh no no no, why'd you go thinking you should drive? Could have called a friend or cab to get you home tonight.
Keep the holidays happy, Tennessee. Booze it and lose it. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Graphic Obsessions on Main is in a larger space and has more to choose from than ever. Tons of Panther designs we can print in minutes. Tons of inventory you can grab right off the rack today. And the amazing new hat bar, where you can customize your own hat. See a design you love but not in your size? We'll print it in just minutes. So many unique gift items right in the store. With the holidays fast approaching, remember, shop early at Graphic Obsessions on Main in Portland. Graphic Obsessions on Main is your Portland Panther football headquarters for Panther apparel. Don't see it in your size? Just ask and we'll print it on your size in minutes. From t-shirts and caps to hoodies and more, Graphic Obsessions on Main has what you need to support the Panther football season. Stop in today or visit our Facebook page. Graphic Obsessions on Main in Portland.
Touchdown!
Open Tuesday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturdays 9:30 to 3.
Welcome back, Panther fans, to Off the Rails Sports Saturday here on the PSN Network. We just playing around with the live questions and everything, making sure we knew how it worked.
I need to get my little yellow flag that I do, Kyle, during basketball broadcast when I want to talk, and the flag with you is it's time for you to talk.
But
It's in the other bag. I'll move it over to this bag.
I do want to say, my little girl, she texted me and said they was listening. So Eliana wanted to say hi to each one of y'all. And I know y'all remember her from
Yeah,
the
she's not a little girl.
the
no more.
basketball
she's
team.
Up in high school. She's going to be a mayor of town one day.
Top of that pyramid.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
yeah, she's I just remember when you
If she wants to be the mayor of the town.
when you was asking her about the basketball,
Yeah.
and she said,
Yeah.
I'm not playing anymore because Coach Totten was my coach and all that. And you was like, I really like you because you just speak your
Well,
mind.
yeah, they were going through coaching changes, and
Yeah.
he just said, I don't like the new coach. And I'm
Yeah.
going, just be honest. I mean, if you're not going to be honest with yourself, how are you going to make it through life?
Yeah.
so let me ask you this, Eli. When she decided she was going to do cheerleading and not fish no more,
He decided he didn't know if he would be able to fish anymore.
is that what? Did you take it
Yeah.
too hard?
Yeah, I had to take off, a couple days and kind of.
Regain his composure. Hey, there's been
Think
times
about things.
there's been times out in there in the boat that I've had to just say, look, man, what would your sister do?
Wow.
I mean,
that when he says that,
Stirs you up, don't it?
yeah, that's when I like need to understand that I gotta slow down. I gotta be
Oh, is
quiet.
that him trying
Yeah.
to tell you
Yeah.
to
Like,
stop thinking?
Yeah.
You're overthinking things.
Yeah.
Just to.
so
You know, I hated it so bad. I didn't hate it bad, but I hated it for my little girl. We fished the regional championship on Center Hill, where we're fixing to go here in just a little bit. And Eli got on a good little gig going down through there, and we pretty much fished this same creek the whole time, probably 400, 500 yards of the bank down through there. And
it was just one of those days where I think I caught like 50 or 60 fish. Like it was just like
he coiled all day long.
It was just one of those days. I mean, I was just around him the whole day.
But Eliana caught some keepers, but they wasn't big enough to coil what he already had.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't remember what place did y'all finish? Ninth in the regional championship, which is huge because
This was a big tournament because
Yeah.
this is wait, I'm trying to think. This was last year.
it was before
So
the
they was trying to downsize the tournament, so there was a lot of boats like every tournament. And then of course it was a championship too. So I think there was around 200 boats there.
Yeah.
So it was a really big tournament.
So she's been able to fish in some big tournaments.
Oh yeah,
With you and
and of
everything.
course she fished with me in the state championship. And
So let's be truthful here. If you had to go into a tournament and your normal partner could not sit there and go with you, and she was able to fish with you, would you be okay with putting her in the boat?
with me,
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
going into a tournament. that-
honestly, yes. And I wish, looking back on it now, I wish that I would have did stuff a little bit different and like set it up a little bit better. But that was kind of before. I mean, I was still learning stuff, you know.
Right.
And so, I mean, I learn stuff every time I go out. But like looking back on it now that I have a little bit more knowledge, I wish I would have set it up better for her to be able to throw at some of these like slower fish and more lethargic fish.
Yeah.
Just because those slower fish and stuff, they like a little bit less action or a little bit less, movement. Just because she's new to fishing and she doesn't really.
they're kind of like Kyle, being old and people have to come see him. The bait has to come see him.
That's
What
right.
he was talking about at the beginning of the
Yeah,
show.
Matt,
I mean,
that
lethargic.
So
Yeah, there, he had a word earlier that I already forgot that he said it startled him or something, and I go, I forgot what your word was describing the bait. And I'm going, I don't eat when I'm bothered by it. I'm like, annoyed.
Annoyed,
Yeah,
annoyed.
you said annoyed, and I go, I think they're trying to intrigue them or make them not annoyed by it.
Gotta
You don't,
trick 'em.
yeah.
Gotta dangle the worm.
But
just
hey,
right,
who am I to
know?
laugh at anybody about miswords? I'm the worst there is.
Well, I'm sure she's happy to hear that, and I know when as you go through the process, if you got a sibling or something, it can be volatile there, with them at times. But as times go past, you go back and go, man, yeah, we could have done this different. And
Yeah.
But I know you still had a good time and everything. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
the regional championship that he was talking about at Center Hill, when I fished with her, we placed ninth. I think we had a little under 15 pounds, and it was a great day. Unfortunately, we caught fish all day, but I will say, I mean, she done like a really good job at like netting the fish too, because that's really good.
All year long.
Yeah, all year. I mean,
She
she did a really good job.
She never knocked anything off.
No, and that's almost impossible to say, because there's a lot of kids that knock fish off or jab at the fish too much, and I mean it comes off.
There's a way to net them.
Yeah.
You don't just take the net and just slam it into the water thinking that.
Yep. Of course, me as the person that's fighting the fish, I mean, you've got to keep that fish under control and bring that fish into the net. But she did a really good job netting. I mean, another thing is just being. I said this at the beginning of the show. Being consistent, pretty much standing up and being hard at it and fishing all day long. Not a lot of people can do that. Being out there for 9 hours through rain, through hotness. I mean, that can be hard to do, and she done a really good job at that. And so I really do appreciate that. And that year would probably go down as one of my favorite years. Of course, I really enjoyed fishing with Caleb as well. But I really enjoy fishing with her for sure. So
What is your mindset not going into a tournament? Because I know you're thinking about you guys, the weather, the water, the clarity, all this and everything. After the tournament's done, and your dad's driving home, you're sitting in the passenger seat,
Sleeping.
and
sometimes it is like that.
Dad or him?
It'd be me.
well, it's now the point he can drive now, right?
I don't let him drive. Pulling the boat, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I
What is your mindset? Do you, if you're like anybody else, that I think I can kind of read you, you sit back and go, man, I could have hooked this one different, or instead of coming up, I could have went to the side, used a different color, used a different wiggle with or a different line or a different. Because I know y'all, how many poles you got in your boat?
16, 17, 18.
And they're
something
all
like that.
rigged kind of different. You got a couple rigged the same, so that way
Yep.
it can just be a quick change over
Yep.
to whatever you're doing.
Mhm.
But you got everything rigged differently for what you're going to use on them
Yep.
and everything.
Like you're talking about on the way home.
So on the way home,
after
tournament's done
okay.
with. Doesn't matter if you get first or
Um,
you were 10th or you're 54th. What is your mindset? What do you kind of walk yourself through? Everybody does the same thing after
Yeah.
a win or a loss. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
The first thing I think of is just, for one, I mean, I seriously do this. This isn't just because I'm, sitting here saying this. I thank God just for the fact that I got to go out there and do that that day. I'm really thankful for that, and that I get the opportunity to. And then of course, I'm really thankful that my dad is my boat captain. There's a lot of people that can't say that. And so I really do appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that. But also, just looking back on maybe if I had some lost fish, maybe what I would have done different. And that right there, I don't want to think about that too much because that I get in my own head.
Yeah.
When I do that. So I try not to do that, but of course that always happens. I mean, I always think about, well, I could have done this different. I could have done that different. I could have moved this fish a certain way to where he didn't jump off or whatever, But at the end of the day, it happened, and it happened for a reason. And so I kind of just have to go with it. And with the tournament fishing and stuff, it's really mental. It's a really big mental game, being out there that long by yourself or whatever. So when you have these tournaments, if anything, if I don't take anything from it, I would definitely take out just having a disciplined mind, being subtle, and that has helped me a lot. Is having a disciplined mind, because the moment that I get beat down in my own mind, I mean, my day's over. Like there's no this, thing, or but. I mean, it's over just because of what's going on in my mind. I mean, that's just how it is. Because if your mind's not right, if your confidence is not right in these baits, you're not going to fish the baits right, and you're not going to be the best you can be out on the water. And so yeah, I mean, it's mental, and then also, I think about what was I going to say? Maybe some different spots I could have went to, parts of the lakes maybe that I did not hit, and that I thought about going to, but I didn't. Maybe that is what I could think of too. Just
And I think
areas.
a lot of things we learned over the years, when we first started this, me and Andy would go during the week, and we would just kind of scope out the whole lake.
Yeah.
That's the wrong thing to do. I mean, you need to pick an area, and let's say 5 to 7 miles. If it don't matter if you have to run 20 miles to get there, but you pick out a 7-mile area,
Okay.
and you focus on that 7-mile area. There's gonna be fish there in that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
There's gonna be areas that's got better fish, better quality fish, and probably more fish. But if you can't find that area, there's no reason in running from one end of the lake to the other. I mean, you look at Kentucky Lake, you're 100, 120 miles from one dam to the next.
Yep.
I mean, there's no way you're gonna be able to catch that.
That's
So running
So
around like
that's what we done later on. That's what I told the boys. I was like, I don't mind running from Nickajack from 40 down there at Jasper. I don't mind running all the way to
Chattanooga.
I don't mind it. It's a 20, 30-minute ride. That's fine. When we drove an hour at Kentucky Lake, we drove an hour because that's where we set up. And in the fall, that's where the best fishing is in that narrower part of the river. and there's more current down there. You know, that's what we was wanting. So, like I said, I don't mind driving that. It's just when we focus on them areas, because if he goes there, and let's say fish is focused on black rocks, okay? Well, we're gonna try to hit every black rock out there on the lake
In that area.
in that area.
That
Yeah.
you've selected.
But if there's somewhere special that we've already fished at Center Hill that we know that bank has got a pebble bank, and that's what the transition of a big rock to the pebble bank, that's where the fish are sitting right now. We're gonna drive that distance. We're gonna hit that
Yeah.
because we know that bank. That's what we're looking for. If we know that the north side bank is the best in the wintertime because that's where the sun is going to hit the most, we focus on that. So in the spring, the water warms up on that side of the lake bed.
First, yep.
So we focus on that. We focus on a piece of wood. It might be standing timber, or is it timber laying out in the thing, or is it brush piles? You know, that's what we're looking at. You know, and trying to.
And running the lake, especially new lakes that we're not familiar with, like in East Tennessee or whatever. Running new lakes and just running around and trying to find different stuff, that's the best way to just get spun out, like completely, and just be like, man, what do I do? I don't like. You might not even be fishing a tournament. You might just be practicing for the tournament. You can get spun out doing that just because you're running around too much.
And then you've got so much to choose from, you don't know where to start.
Yeah, and you're not familiar with banks. And different types of brush that may be out in the water because you're new to that lake. Because those banks and stuff, even at like Dale Hollow, those banks are going to change. They change constantly. I mean, it's the earth. It's part of it. You know, stuff falls through. You've got branches and brush that fall down in the water. I mean, everything changes. You know, and so you've got to really just put yourself. I guess in a arena almost, and just sit yourself there and stay in that area of the lake.
So let me ask you this then. Do y'all keep a notebook on lakes and stuff? So like, and be like, best thing I think of is baseball. Having, or even in football, but baseball is a better one, in my opinion. You're going to a lake, so it means you're going to go face a pitcher. This pitcher pitches so many pitches. Okay, you got a whole scout sheet on this pitcher. What he pitches when he has a person on first or second or whatever. What he pitches at the bottom of the inning, top of the inning, outs, how many outs, right-handed batter, left-handed batter, all these situations, so you can understand what you're going to get. Do you have a note? And you just talked about everything that you're looking at when you go not to the lake. You're looking at an area, and you got to put all this stuff together. Do you keep, it's not in your head, but do you keep it on on a media file somewhere to where you can go, hey, we're going to Center Hill today. It was foggy. It's overcast. It's X amount of degrees. The water is flowing. It's not flowing. It's this or that. Okay, we're going to look for. So we need to be looking for this type of structure. So hey, such here and here are our 3 or 4 structures that we can probably go fish. Do you want to go? And we got 2 out of those 3 close enough to where we can kind of, I know that's kind of what you do, but do you keep that in a notebook, or do you just keep it in your head? Or
so I don't, but I know I told them, growing up, I said, that's something that you need to do. You need to journal that. But the videos that he was doing for the tournaments, he would tell that. He would tell the water temp. He would tell the day it was, and he would put the date on there. And so now you can kind of search.
Yeah, you've got, nowadays, I mean, of course, I've got social
YouTube.
media. A lot of the tournament finishes that I do, I post about it so I can see the date.
And he puts the baits on there. He even shares the baits that he caught them on.
I can put that kind of stuff on there.
Which first few, or most of his tournaments and stuff, he was that doggone shaky head. Was always just the throwback on that shaky head.
He was, like in the fall and stuff, I used a shaky head a lot, and then when the spring comes around, I'll start using it again. Or more often, I'll have it on the deck more. But the social media is the biggest thing nowadays. Of course, with that, I'm able to see how I finished and how I did, what kind of fishing I did that time of year, that lake. And then, of course, something else. I mean, like a lot of these reservoirs and stuff, the lake drops and rises. Like TVA, they drop and rise the lake about the same time of the year, and so that's pretty easy to tell. Of course, you've got the TVA app that I keep with me, and I've been able to. You can tell the water level from that, of course, but also just show how much they're generating, how much water is pooling, is a big thing as well. So
Now, when something I wanted to ask earlier, but so as you're sitting there looking through this live scope and you're presenting your bait and everything, are you looking for fish? Do they strike mostly out of reaction to the bait, or because they're hungry, or can you tell what is what? Is one strike different than the other, and everything?
So there's one thing I was gonna say, but I'll wait for a second. And it's about the strike, like how they strike and stuff. I can tell a difference and I can tell what's a bass, what's not. I can even tell what's a largemouth and what's a smallmouth. I mean, I can tell that.
Wow.
But you was talking about if they're doing it because they're hungry.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's serious. I know Thayer was saying this. A lot of times it's because like they're actually upset at the bait.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be, if you want to make a fish mad, keeping it in front, keeping it right above them, or I guess keeping it around them is going to make them the maddest. Not just dropping it down and like hitting them. I mean, that's going to scare them like crazy. That doesn't make a fish mad. Making a fish mad is making it so mad that he doesn't want to see that bait anymore, so he's just going to eat it. So that's the biggest. That's what their mindset into seeing these baits are.
So fish, if you look at your fish apps or your Farmer's Almanac, stuff like that, it talks about this day is good for fishing at this time and all that stuff. They're always 12 hours apart. So a fish usually eats 12 hours apart, and they might feed for 5 minutes on that time, but then they'll just stalk bait throughout. And then when something kind of, I'm hungry, it's just like us. We eat 3 times a day, right?
But then we go around.
But we go around and we snack.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically the same thing. Now, fish have a tendency to fatten up in the fall for the winter, and then they get real skinny because they just went up and had their bed and they've laid their eggs, and the males just went up and protected their eggs, but the females need to recoup all that what they've lost, so that beginning of summer, right after they went off bed, that's when they start eating a lot. So you catch them during those times, but when you find them, it might be 4 o'clock in the morning and it might be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, that's not a good tournament time for us. Okay. But it's also about the moon. So the moon is, it could be a new moon, which is solid dark. It could be no moon, or it could be a full moon, or it could be a quarter moon. It's all about the moon phases also affects their feeding patterns and stuff. So that's some of the major things is we've got a 12-hour window. And most of the time in the summer, or when our tournaments are, let's say April and May, and then in the fall when it's, September and October, those tournaments are most of the time like 6 to 6:30 in the morning. So you pretty much just have a topwater bite, and then that's it. But there is tournaments where it's like 10 o'clock is going to be the best time, for an hour. They'll be biting better. And there's been times when I've looked at it and be like, we caught fish during that time, so it made a difference.
Like well, it's not winter weather right now, but like the winter time, it still counts for. Like December right now, like a lot of your morning bites or stuff is not going to be as good. So when we go out later in the afternoon, before it gets dark, that's going to be about the best time to just hammer them. And in the afternoon too, and then you've got the summertime, it's the complete opposite. You've got the morning and the evening that's mainly the best time. Everywhere in between, everything's just hot and muggy, and it's a lot tougher to get them to bite. So yeah.
What's the best lake you love to fish? Out of all the lakes that you fished, let's do this. Best lake you love to fish in the state of Tennessee, and the best lake you love to fish because you were able to go somewhere due to a tournament or a state or nationals or something like that?
Yes. I would say in Tennessee is for sure Del Holla. I mean, I can go there any time of the year and catch them. I mean, like for example, I mean, I went back in
Should have went with you yesterday.
Now listen to this.
I went back in October. It was like the last week of October. I went to go get my senior pictures done.
And it was actually November.
November. Okay, it was November, and
We took the boat for him to be able to take some pictures out on the water.
So at first, I mean, we went to, this is off topic, but at first we went and took pictures, you know, on the bank, you know, for mom and everything like that. And I was like, well, now I want to do some cool pictures, you know. So we went on the boat, and I went out, and I went over towards the dam, and my girlfriend is actually the one that took my pictures. So I dropped her off on the bank, and then I did some cool pictures, you know, driving by, stuff like that. And then I got her back on the boat, so I started fishing, and so I got caught.
You wanted some live action, you know?
Yeah.
They would-
And of course they're sitting at the dock like waiting on me, but I was like, I need to go fishing. Like, you know, we didn't just go up here, you know, just to mess around. Yeah, I'm there, so I might as well do something.
That's right.
So did some cool pictures doing that, and I mean, I hadn't fished that lake maybe in a month and a half. I mean, I hadn't even seen the lake. I just pulled up, got there. Well, I dropped the trolling motor, and I like literally first cast almost caught one. Like I was like, okay, this might be pretty good. I mean, I might catch one. So I caught a small one, and I was like, I gotta do better than that. So I ran somewhere
Trying
else.
to come out from his girlfriend.
Yeah. So I ran somewhere else.
Picture don't look good with a little one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So I ran somewhere else, and like I pulled up in this creek, and like I literally I started realizing what these fish were doing. I mean, they were still in the drains, the ditches and stuff, these creeks, chasing bait and doing that kind of stuff. And I kind of realized how deep they were. This was a warmer day. The sun was shining. You know, it was November. So when the sun's shining, it's warm like that. These fish are feeding. I mean, it's warm. They're up. The sun's shining. They're pretty much getting their little tan on, you know. And so the bait is pushed up because how warm it is too. So these fish are feeding on top of the water, and I probably could have caught them top water, but I'll show y'all out there, you know, what I was throwing because I hadn't even took it off. But I was throwing a jerk bait, and it's just like any of these shad imitating baits, and it's like a twitch deal. And it's sitting there, you know, searching.
And some of them suspended,
Yep.
so you'll crank it a little bit, and then you get it down to, let's say, 8 foot, and then it'll stay in that 8 foot column, and then you jerk it, reel it slack, jerk it, and it stays in that 8 foot. And then some of them they'll dive down a little bit, and they'll float back up a little salt.
Yeah.
And when you're in that pause area, that's a lot of times when that fish is going to react, is when that pause
that
is.
fish can't stand that bait is just sitting there. Like they don't like that. And so I ended up catching one about like just shy of about 4 pounds, and I took pictures with it and stuff, a largemouth, and I caught a good smallmouth too. But I was out there for an hour, and going back to my favorite lake and stuff. I mean that's really why is because I can just go out there whenever and hang in or catch multiple fish or a good fish, you know, in all parts of the lake. So
But the live scope has helped him become that better lake for him.
Yeah, just because I mean, like we were
You can
talking about
see
earlier,
the reactions of what you're doing, so you know that this action here or this here was going to work
And
because of what you've
and
seen.
just like we were talking about, I mean, it's a tool. I was able to unravel and unfold that lake with that tool. But a lot of lakes that I go to in Tennessee, I can't catch them in all areas of the lake. At Del Holla, I can go from the dam all the way an hour or a 50-minute run all the way to the Obi River, way as far as you can go back up in there and catch them. I mean, I can catch them everywhere in between, just anywhere. Mid-lake, whatever, I can catch them, you know, almost, I've caught them in almost every creek we fished, Mitchell, I mean, all of them. So that's the big reason why I love that lake. And all times of year, I mean, we night fish, we've talked about that on here before, how fun night fishing is and fishing for those smallmouth and stuff. And then you was talking about outside of the state. I'd say for me, I'd have to go with Lake Martin in Alabama. That lake is really deep, and really really clearer than Del Hollow, and catching those spotted bass are just so fun. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite. And there's days you go out there and you catch 100 fish. I mean, it's really crazy.
And that's something that we didn't talk about either. The major league fishing, and then the Bassmaster difference.
Yeah.
Major league fishing, they take every fish and weigh it and release it.
Yes.
Bassmaster, you keep your best 5 for that tournament for that day.
You wait in at the end.
So the tournament at Lake Martin with that college kid, that was every fish counts. As long as it was over 1 pound, it counted. So I don't know, how many fish did you catch year before last?
So yeah,
you
so
probably
this is online. This is like an online tournament. You're out there. Everybody's out there. Everybody starts at the same time, lines in, whatever. After that happens, you start putting in weights. There's an app on your phone that everybody downloads. It's called Fishing Chaos, and so you get a scale that morning. Everybody's got the same scale. You and your college partner, of course, you're all on the same team, but you're against everybody. And so when you catch your fish, you of course weigh it, and then you press the hold button. It holds it. So your other partner has to take a picture of you holding the scale and the fish.
And it's got to be a full
And it's gotta
body.
be a full
It's got to be a
frame.
full body of the
You
fish.
can't-
Nothing can be underneath it. So you can't be having something pulling down on the fish or anything like that.
And then
And they have to approve it. So it was over 10,000 fish that was submitted. Each one of them had to be approved. If they couldn't read the amount of weight in there, if the fish wasn't right, if the fish was even turned sideways instead of on its side like this, if it was turned,
Where
like
you only see the stomach or the
stomach-
back of it.
yeah.
Yep.
So they want to see the lines on it. That way they can't, because a lot of these fish was 1 pound, 1 ounce, or 1 pound, 3 ounce.
so
You
a lot
caught
of them was
multiple
the
fish
same
like that.
size.
So
The same
they would
fish.
look at the color line on them.
Make sure you're not double dipping.
That's right.
And
Wow.
the biggest thing you have to do is video you releasing the fish
Yep.
after every catch. So that was the biggest thing. That's
Especially
if
if
they
you
asked
had
for it,
one,
you
it
could
was
send it
it was
in.
real close. If you caught 2 fish that was the same weight, they could say, "I want to see the video." Well, it's time stamped that you videoed it at this time, and then you released this other one, plus background
Yeah.
and all that. So you releasing
I
the
was going
fish
to
and
ask
stuff.
you, do y'all call them like with the Bassmasters, and you sit there and you put your tag on them for your top
Yep.
5 and everything, or do you sit there and do like Major League Fishing, which is you're going to take it, weigh it. You got to, of course, there's no official in each boat and everything, but you weigh it. You call it out. You have to sit there and go, yes, I agree. It's 2.4, 2.4, and then you have to release. And when you release, you have to release it at the level of the boat or below the boat. You can't take it and just
Yeah,
throw it back.
they don't have that rule.
But I know that
Bassmaster don't
I know
either.
Major League,
Major League Fishing does. Yes, sir.
yeah.
because
so-
I'll watch that on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and go, okay, here's what I'm doing at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching Major League Fishing. So,
But that's the difference in them. And then you was talking about earlier about the scoping tournaments that don't have it. There's a national professional league, NPL,
NPFL.
NPFL, yeah, National Professional Fishing League, and so it's a non-scoping at all. Like
That's the biggest no scope trail.
they don't have any tournaments for scope. They don't have any. And I hope that train don't come off the rails. Right?
I think it's cool we can have it here and that happens.
Yeah.
What's the worst lake that you hate fishing?
East Tennessee.
Yeah. It'd probably have to be either this lake called Melton Hill, or
Where's that at?
it's in East Tennessee. Where's it by? I mean,
It's basically between Knoxville and Watts Bar.
Okay.
yeah.
It's just
I
it's
went there and fished a tournament there, as the first tournament I ever fished there, and the only one I'll ever be at. And I literally caught these big old shad. Like that's all I caught. Like that, I caught like 15 of them all day long. Wind was
And you know what
ripping
shad
off.
do? They're really, really slick, and their sides and stuff. They slime you, slime the boat, slime the carpet.
So now you got it on your hands.
It's nasty.
So now when you try to
It's
sit there
nasty.
and put a new lure on, it's
Oh
on the
yeah,
lure.
I can't never get it off.
It's
my hands.
what
It was
what people use for catfishing.
It's
They'll
like
take
that, yeah.
they'll take shad, catch a shad that big, and they'll take their big old hook and stick it in their back, and then throw it out there, and then that shad's sitting out there swimming until that big fish gets it. You know.
Yeah.
and then they stink. So if you cut them,
Yeah.
and then you make them stink, and then the catfish want that too, you know.
It was bad.
What's your goal, Eli? What's your goal from here on out? Are you looking to fish in college? Are you looking to go to college? Are you looking to try to go into it here in 3-4 years? We're going to see Eli Baird up there on Major League Fishing on TNT, or
Yeah.
you know, what's your goal?
So I got offered a pretty good scholarship to go fish at Blue Mountain. I fished with the kid this year for the tournament in Alabama. That's where he went to college at, and I think I need to do a tour there sometime in January or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know yet. I don't think I'm going to go to college. I think I might find a trade or something. But one of the things I really want to do, and I'm wanting to start as soon as I can. Of course, I have to be 18 to do it. I'm wanting to get my guide license, and I'm wanting to be a guide, at some of these lakes that I'm better at, Center Hill, Del Hall, whatever, and as well, do live scope trips and stuff. I think that would be really cool. So I think the guiding is something I want to get into, and I was telling Dad and Mom, as long as I am making the money back to put it back in, to go fish again, I don't care. I mean, money doesn't bother. I mean, it doesn't.
Right.
I don't care. I don't really care about making money out of it. I just want enough that I can just constantly keep going.
Yeah.
And then, if some big tournaments get held at those lakes and stuff, of course I'll enter and fish those. The BFLs and the Toyota Series, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some of those tournaments have really good payouts. So.
Kyle, I know you got to leave here pretty quick. Do you have any last questions?
I don't, but I knew we was worried about getting an hour in, and I knew that wasn't going to be an issue.
Oh, no, we could probably go another hour and everything. I think what we'll do, Coach Thayer, you have anything?
What's your favorite fish to eat? Or do you like fish? That'd be interesting.
I mean,
You catch them all day, you don't want nothing to do with eating
Where
them.
you get your best fish at to eat?
what are you talking about?
Where do you go eat it at?
Like where?
Yeah.
I've there's a catfish place. What are you talking about? What do you want me to tell you?
Salina.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I
Dude.
forgot about that.
Dude,
So there's
in Salina, there's
Right.
a place called Ollie's Place.
I forgot I even eat walleye. I was thinking like
Walleye, they have-
catfish. And
They have
stuff.
fried and they have baked. We usually get it baked. I usually do, me and my wife. But I mean, it's
Walleye?
walleye. It's good. It is good.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite. And then from there too. I mean, that's the only place I've ever ate walleye.
Right.
But they do a really good job.
Do you have plans on going, so you talking about walleye, do you have plans to start fishing for other things? Or maybe, like with Coach Combs, I know Coach Combs will go up north, a lot, because that's
Yeah.
where he's from, and he'll do a lot of walleye fishing or muskie fishing. Do you ever think about maybe doing something like that? Just to go on, a lot of people go hunt, and so they
Yeah.
go hunt, they go to Montana, they go to Colorado, they go to these big hunting things and everything. Do you ever sit
You
there
like
and
trout fishing?
Yeah.
Jump
Yeah.
in a stream and
Yeah,
do-
so I think a big one that I would, if I got my guide license and was able to guide people and make money doing that, or a little bit of money doing that, I think something other than bass fishing that I'd get into is crappie fishing. Of course, it's the next best guiding thing, but also like live scoping and doing that part with crappie fishing. I think people would really like to learn that more. I
yeah, that
guess.
would be interesting. It's
Yeah.
crap
I
for
would
me
say
because I
that's,
grew up
um,
crappie fishing.
yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
And you got
So these-
Bullfoot Lake.
Yeah,
Just over there
there's
in
a
West
lot of
Tennessee. I
there's
mean,
a
that's
lot of
supposed to be
lakes
real
around
famous
here.
for.
What the guides has done in the last few years when this live scoping, everybody's got all these electronics on their boat, is having guide trips just to set their stuff up and teach them.
Right, how to use it
how
and
to
fine
use it.
tune it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean it's crazy that people, they're paying $400 and $500. I don't
All
care.
this equipment.
I don't care if we go out there and catch any fish. I just want to learn how to use my stuff. I'm like, really? It's time on the water.
It's nice to learn.
It's time on the water. I promise you. If he was not able to go out there and practice and use it just like through the summer and stuff like that, he would not be as good as he is with it because it's all about and it's
yeah.
he gets rusty. getting that thing, getting the boat set up just right to be able to throw on that fish, it's hard, especially if you got two people standing up there, you and your partner trying to stand up there and try to throw on that same fish, not getting hung up, not hanging somebody with your lure. It all works into
So when
a
you
team.
do your tournaments, so do you both stand on the front of the boat?
Yeah.
Normally it's whoever's going to be the lead fisherman is got the front of the boat, and the other guy's got the back.
So me and my new partner, I mean, it just depends on whose boat we're on. If we're on his boat, most of the time I'm right behind him, and he's doing his own deal. And then if it's on our boat, most of the time I'm doing my own deal. But both of us, when it comes to the live scope, both of us are throwing at the fish or doing that thing, unless my partner or me is on a little something different that a lot of people may not be doing. Whether it could be dragging something or throwing a crankbait, throwing a top water, not really using the live or utilizing the live scope, but a lot of times I try my best to utilize it just because it's a lot of times it's what the tournaments are won on is using that live scope. So, but there's times where me and him, like at Kentucky Lake, where we're just throwing crankbaits and just going down the bank. I mean, or just flipping, whatever it may be, just to try to get that big bite, So.
So let me ask you this, Teddy. With your boat, you're the boat captain. But if you take your partner's boat, are you still the boat captain, or does somebody else drive?
His dad.
Okay.
Yeah, Braden's dad, Tim. He's the boat captain. And that's really helped me out this year too. I kind of felt like I had kind of a burnout.
Yeah.
I'd done it for so many years, fished a lot of tournaments, and I didn't want to take that away from Eliana, but as I was able to do that with her, and I didn't feel burnout. But this summer, I just kind of had a different feel about things, and just it really helped me out to have Tim do that, and I appreciate that. And then his other partner, his name's Tim too. The boat captain is the dad, but it's Tim Hudson who it is, and his son Reed. But he's Tim's from here in Portland. But yeah, he's been the boat captain for them a few times and all that stuff.
So you're kind of in the off season, or you're in your winter break right now. So when's the next tournament that you're fishing for Sumner County? The fishing team.
Sumner County is February.
Okay.
Yep, and it will be at Chickamauga, so Dayton, Tennessee, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'll be with my partner for that one.
So when y'all go to pre-fish, just a day or two before, or are you gonna
it kind of just depends.
Most time it's the day before.
Yeah,
is when they usually do it.
I
now
think
they can go.
With how far it is, we'll probably end up staying up there somewhere. So we'll go a couple days before the tournament.
Yeah.
So
They usually go up on Thursday nights.
Yep.
So how does that
Fish Friday?
How does that mess with your schooling? So with you being a senior, okay, and you have to leave on a Thursday, do you go to school on Thursday and then drive?
Well, he can get out.
And everything?
He gets out at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, or whatever.
So the way my schooling's set up this year is, I mean, I go to two.
Where you work at again? You want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, I mean, I work at Mobile One, Lewin Express. So we
I saw him there. I've seen him there.
we do.
He did my car
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he talks about it all the time. He said, "Well, such and such," but I can't think of his name. But he looks like this, And I'm like, I don't know who that is, Well, they know you. I'm like, I don't know them, Put a note in your phone who it is.
I
wait,
would like to-
wait till 30 years later, one of your kids go, "Hey, Coach, there, remember me?"
No. Well, they say that.
The thing about him, he ain't changed
Well,
ever. But there's some people in 30 years, it's amazing how much they
Oh, yeah.
change.
Well, he comes in all the time. He's like, "Yeah, they come straight in and said, you got to be Teddy's son." That's all they say to him. They don't care about who he is, but
Yeah.
you got to be Teddy's son.
But I would like to shout out my boss, Chris Johns. But I mean, he lets me off when I need to, and then the schooling part, a lot of it's online. So I mean, I'm able to do that.
It fits,
Yeah.
especially this
It
year
does.
as a senior.
Yep.
But it was tougher as a sophomore, junior.
Yeah,
'Cause you
yeah,
had
a lot
full
more
class.
classes.
He's
some of
never
it-
had a problem with school. I mean, he's
Yeah.
never had to worry about his grades or nothing like that. He's always been exempt from exams and stuff.
Well, that was just, I would like to, both of my parents, I mean, that was just the biggest thing with them is, like, I had to make sure I had the right grades. Or
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't get to go fishing, or I wouldn't get to do the tournaments and stuff. So that was a priority of mine, is just to make sure I had the right grades.
Well, speaking of grades, and we'll end it with this, and then we'll go out there and we'll continue I know we won't be able to see it online. We'll stop once we get here on the live stream, but the video will have the boat tour, everything. But what's your favorite class in school?
Trying to think. I feel like I haven't been to school in months. Be honest with you. I'd say for me,
Dismissal.
it's probably.
That was my favorite.
I really like shop. I really like shop classes. That's definitely my favorite. Just being hands on.
So what kind of trades do you do?
Like at school or
Yeah,
what?
we're at school. Yeah.
At school. Like this year, I've already talked to my shop teacher, which I take his class this semester coming up. So this year, I think we're like putting together like a big old tool bench.
So it's the metal. So like when I went to school, our trades was wood shop. It was
Yep.
metals.
Yeah, so I did.
Auto mechanics was our 3.
Yep. So this year, this is like a senior class. So
Yeah.
we kind of do a little bit of everything that
Yeah.
we learn.
Okay.
So like last year, we did wood, and then the next semester we did small engine repair.
Okay.
And then my underclass.
It's your ag mechanics class,
Yeah,
right?
mechanics. Yeah.
Yeah.
My freshman and sophomore year was more livestock related type stuff, plants, that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
But
So-
you took machine shop. Did you take machine shop and welding?
Yeah, so I took welding. I took all
One year?
3 of them. So I took ag, I took machine shop, I took welding. I ran like in machine shop. I mean, I ran the like the drill press and like that kind of stuff. And then in welding, I did all the 3 types of welding they teach: MIG, TIG, and MIG, TIG, and stick. And then ag, of course, livestock, all kinds of different stuff. So, but this year we'll be doing. I think we're putting together like a lawnmower or something, and then we're building.
Kind
a
of
tool
combining
bench.
everything
Yeah,
together
yep.
where you have to kind of use all.
Yep.
What do you do outside? What do you like to do? What's your hobbies other than fishing? Do you build stuff for your dad or your mom?
Yeah, I'd say something that I feel like I've picked up this year, is helping, not just helping, but like I want to learn more about the cow market. My brother, he just got him some cows this morning out where we live.
Yeah.
Out this year where we live, and so I'm wanting to get into that, and of course I've been helping him do that, and so I like fiddling with cows and doing that kind of stuff. So, and then of course working on people and stuff, at work and stuff. I like that. So.
What's the worst subject you could say that you ever took that you wish you never had to go through?
I'm not a big math guy. I don't know what it is. But I don't really like the statistics class that I'm taking this year. Of course. I mean,
You could use it in fishing.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, what's the
that is
probability
true.
if you sit
Yeah.
there and threw this
That-
bait here?
I like that part, but no, I just thought of this one. It's been so long since I took it. For me, I mean, I think it's everybody hates it the most is algebra 1,
Yeah.
2, whatever. I mean, I can't stand algebra.
But we're going to use it all of our life.
Yeah, we'll never use it again. For the
I hate it for all them algebra teachers out there that think that their class is what everybody's going to use. But no, I have not used any algebra
so
the
like-
rest of my
But
life.
like the geometry class that I took after that, like I enjoyed that class.
Yeah.
I was able to learn stuff that
Geometry
I'm
was fun, I thought.
Yeah. So yeah.
Let's go with a couple more, and then we'll go for the boat.
You
tour there.
talk about classes and stuff. I think the teacher makes the class.
Yes.
Oh,
And that's
for sure.
huge. I can remember, Miss McNeil is still at the high school right now, and Miss McNeil was one of my favorite teachers. Miss Wright, which was Miss Venable now, she was one of my teachers. She was one of my, those two right there was probably my 2 favorite teachers I ever had at Portland High School. Mr. King was my shop teacher, machine shop, and he was back then. I didn't say the bomb or nothing like that, but I mean, he was a great teacher. He trusted us,
Yeah.
being in this class, and that's huge, And I still today, I mean, he goes to church over where I go, and I still get to see him. He still knows me, He,
Right.
I've been out of school for 30 plus years, 32 years now, whatever, and he still knows me. And I wouldn't have never took his class if it wasn't for my brother. But Mr. King was just a great teacher.
Yeah, it goes back to either a teacher or a coach that's going to sit there and make a difference
Yep.
on how you learn something. If you don't like it, all of a sudden they find a way to connect with you, and you start liking that subject, wherever it may be, at school or a sport or whatever, or learning how to play an instrument, whatever it is. You know, that person is what makes the subject fun or not,
Yeah.
and enjoyable to learn. And I think that's goes into coaching. And Coach Thayer can probably sit there and jump on this too. If the coach is, or a teacher, because that's all the coach is, it's just a teacher. It's just a teacher of a sport or something of that nature. But if that person can make it fun learning and can help you get better at it, then you enjoy that subject or that whatever you're doing it with that. If a teacher doesn't, and then you're going to hate that subject, and you can't understand it, and I can understand that and see that and everything. So, what's your favorite food?
I like, of course, I like walleye. I mean, that's really good. It's crazy I say that. I mean, I'm a fisherman, but other than that, well, I mean, this is seafood too. I like shrimp a lot, crab, and I mean, I could live in the water, honestly, if I had to.
You ever think about getting scuba
Shrimp boat.
license?
Shrimp boat.
Getting shrimp boat. And go down to-
I'll come live with you on a shrimp boat.
Really?
I can eat shrimp every meal
Yeah.
too, dude.
He could be your first mate.
Yeah, but outside of
Lieutenant Dan over here.
Yeah.
outside of like that, or outside of seafood, I guess. I'm trying to think.
Plain cheeseburger. That's all you wanted to eat growing up.
Yeah.
Plain. You don't want nothing on it? Yeah,
What
just
is
meat and cheese.
I just had it in my head.
The worst
I
part's
can't
when
think
you
of what
order
it
a
is.
plain cheeseburger and they don't put cheese on it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I said cheeseburger. Well, you said plain too. Everything but that. All right.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite for sure. I don't know why. I like broccoli. I don't know why. It's like a weird craving thing I like sometimes.
Vegetables are good for you.
Yeah.
I still haven't learned how to eat it, so can't stand it.
I had some last night.
I can grill it. I'll take that back. If I grill it.
Have
I
you
can
ever
eat
baked
broccoli.
it?
Yeah, I've never baked. Well,
Bake it with
I-
olive oil on
Yeah.
it.
I
yeah,
just-
sure do. And it just crusts a little bit of it.
That's what grilling does.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, dude, I love potato soup. Like,
Potato soup.
yeah,
You like Old Charlie's potato soup?
yeah. Whatever mom makes. I mean, I like that.
That's good.
And then these little cut croissant rolls that she makes, put ham and cheese in them, and like dip it in it.
She's
It's good.
So in your potato soup, what does she put in it? Just potatoes and
Potatoes.
Bacon.
She puts
soup.
bacon in it. That's the
Yeah.
best part.
so she
Bacon
chops bacon and puts it in
and
there.
Yeah,
cheese,
that always
cheese.
has
a
to.
bunch of cheese.
So when you get the soup in your bowl and everything, do you put more cheese and more bacon bits on it, and
Yeah.
maybe some sour cream and,
And then-
Oyster
Little
crackers.
goldfish
Yeah.
goes good too sometimes.
Yeah,
If
I
you like
like
goldfish.
I like Ritz crackers. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I put all that in there, and then I'll dip the croissant with it. But yeah,
well, that's good. Coach Thayer, you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. You just made me hungry. is all.
yeah, I'm kind of hungry now too. So
We might eat walleye tonight.
there you
on the way
go.
Back from, no, we're going to
Now
Center
you're gonna
Hill.
Center Hill. I'll say you won't be
Ah.
that.
Well,
What's the name of that place again in Salina?
Ollie's place.
Ollie's.
Yeah, it's Ollie's place in man, I'm telling you, they got really good food there. They got a hamburger there that's called an elephant, and it's huge.
So in relation to downtown Salina, where's it at?
So you know, when the easiest way for me to tell you to get there, and this is how I go to the ramp at the dam.
Right.
So when I come into town, I come across that bridge,
Right.
and then there's a stop sign right there.
Yeah.
I take a right,
Okay.
and then I make that left on the square right there,
Right.
and then you stay straight through the next stop sign, the
Yeah.
next four-way stop.
Yeah.
When you go through it, you're gonna go about a half a mile, and all these places on the right hand
Okay.
side. So you can park on the left side of the building. There's kind of an open parking lot over there on the left side. The bank's there, but you're like a dirt bank, not the bank.
Yeah, it's
where you
weird. I
get
spent a
money.
lot of time in Salina, but I've never eaten there.
That's it.
before.
On the right hand side, it's a big elephant there outside.
Is it really?
Yeah, on the
What's the
outside.
elephant?
Yeah, Ollie's place. It's been there for several years. But yeah, that's
I'm gonna
an
have to go
awesome
eat there.
place. You know, they closed down Dairy Queen in Salina.
Did they
That's-
really?
I mean, it's kind of like Portland. You know, we closed down
There used to be a
Um,
Shell gas station.
we
out
closed
of
down the
town.
Burger King the first time it was here. Now it's Arby's where
Right.
Burger King was. But I mean, it's hard to close down some of these places, but they did. They closed down the Dairy Queen.
But Well, guys, I appreciate Eli and Teddy for y'all coming on the show today. It's like I said, I can sit here and talk fishing for hours, and so let's try not to make it a year before y'all come back. We'll try to get you on. I know you got tournaments on every weekend and stuff like that, so
Maybe we can come back at least maybe before the state championship and maybe after the state championship
kinda
sometime.
just,
You know,
we'll stay in touch. Let me know whenever he has a weekend open.
Yeah.
And that way we can sit there and book him on the show there, and that
Yeah.
way we know it's going to be good. And, by then, maybe we can do a little bit more than what we're doing now. Again, we're still learning this whole process of streaming and everything, and so, but
We could find an extra boat. We could do it on a lake.
there we go.
As long as we got cell service.
Well,
where
what
I
we need
can
to do
where
is
I can
what we'll
stream.
do is we'll have
rent a
Eli
pontoon
and
boat.
them go on a tournament with his partner, where his partner's dad is the boat captain.
Right.
We can sit there and jump in the boat with Teddy.
Yeah. All we
And we'll
need is
sit there and
Wi-Fi
go-
Oh, we can do that.
availability. Yeah.
We'll do a.
Well,
I've been
I don't-
telling
I
Kyle
don't
I've been
have
wanting to do that
Wi-Fi.
forever.
I don't have.
But you know,
Wi-Fi.
as long as the phone, as
Oh
long
yeah,
as
yeah.
then I can tether this in and we can go.
Yeah.
Or get one of those little portable generators that we're going to get for football
Yeah.
broadcasts. Those things don't even make noise. They're unbelievable. Have one of
Be
those
nice
so
to
we ain't
watch
got to worry
them
about power.
Watch 250 boats launch and everything, which I
Oh,
know
that's
they don't
cool.
all go at
Yeah.
one time, but it's still it's
Well, that's one thing that Josh Harris, our coach for Sumner County, he does the aerial view. So if you go on Facebook and you see,
drone.
he's got a drone. And he's
Yeah,
got like
if you look
a
up,
$5,000,
if
$6,000
you look up
drone.
Sumner
Yeah.
County Fishing
And
Team,
my wife, she'll hook me up. She'll say, "Let's go down the day before and get a hotel and all." And she'll be all about all that. She goes, "Now you wake up at 6 and go fishing. I'm gonna stay in the hotel and, and get room service or something cool like that."
So I have to look at Sumner County Fishing.
yep, Sumner County Fishing Team, and like literally the first pictures will pop up will be the drone shots. Just
Okay.
really
Of
cool
all the
pictures.
boats that's out there, and especially like it's just at bright daylight, you know, and it shows the lights on the boat and stuff.
Yep.
He makes some great pictures, some great sunrise pictures with that drone.
Yeah, that
It's
drone
awesome.
technology
Yeah.
really took off.
It
You know,
has.
it's unbelievable.
Well,
what
Well, you know,
people can do.
it's against the rules for Bassmaster to have a drone during practice time. So they have a set time. Like the 30 days before practice starts, you can't even be on the lake. You can't get information about the lake. And then during practice times, you can't have a drone and fly over any of your stuff
That's
that
cool.
you're fishing. Because when you're above the water, you can actually see
Structure,
contours
yeah.
and structures and stuff, and you
Right.
can cover so much water
in
with that
such a
drone.
little bit of time. Yep.
Yep. So that's one of the
Well,
rules
that's
that they
cool. You
have.
wouldn't even think about that. Again, technology that has come around today that fishermen didn't have back in the Bill Dance days.
That's right.
You know.
Yep.
He's still the best though.
So
We was talking about him, you know, he never.
And it don't matter. He can fish any fish, right? Some people are great bass fishermen.
Well, he was
This-
always
he
a
could-
long.
He
was
can
always
fish
a,
anything.
He was always a largemouth guy, but we was talking about that yesterday. Me and Ryan was, you know, and he didn't never on his shows. He never said anything about the sonar. He never showed you a sonar
Right.
because he didn't have to worry about it because he went to these private lakes
yeah.
and that's where he caught all these big fish. That's the reason why he
Right.
could go there and catch 5 and 6 pounders. Now I don't know how long he would film
Right.
to make his show good. You know,
Right.
how many hours would we have to film to actually make a good show on here? No, I'm just kidding. Y'all do a good
Wow,
job of
we
this.
haven't learned yet, so we're still learning.
Episode 6, you ought to be
No,
in it
not
now.
at
man.
all. There's so
Pros.
much. There's so much stuff to do.
The audio
for,
part, I like.
it
The
took
video
us-
part, you got to remember you can't pick your nose and
Yeah.
readjust yourself because you're on camera. There you go.
Kyle was
Yeah,
over
I
there
guess you
picking-
can pick your
I
nose.
can
That don't
cut things
matter.
out here and
You
there,
think, you think Kyle was over picking his nose while ago?
but guys, I appreciate y'all coming on. Again, the live broadcast will stop here in a couple seconds. We'll continue the video. We'll go outside. We'll take a boat tour. Have Eli show us the boat, the live scope, some other things that he wants to show us. And so the video will go a little bit longer. And that will be, I'll try to get that edited tonight and then try to get it up within the next 24 to 36 hours. So that's on YouTube. Like I said, last week's episode 5, we could not upload it because you could not hear us talk due to the music behind us and the gymnasium. There's a lot of cool things you can do, but you couldn't cut out all the music. You couldn't cut out the background noise and everything.
We're
there.
working on that.
But eventually we'll have it, streaming in with our audio, and so we be okay with that. But we're not there yet. So, but guys, appreciate you joining us today. people listening in. Appreciate everybody listening in live. If you haven't listened in live, then thank y'all for listening whenever you do listen to the broadcast. But again, thank y'all. Hope everybody had a great Merry Christmas. Hope everybody is safe for the New Year's coming up this week. Be responsible. Be smart at what you're doing. If you want to go out and have fun, make sure you get a designated driver or Uber or something like that, because you definitely want to see what 2026 is bringing in, and not want to see, the bad thing about it, when you don't make good choices. But thank y'all again for joining in. For Coach Thayer and Kyle Eden, this is Coach Almendarez with Off the Rails, Episode 6, Sports Saturday. Y'all have a good day.
Driving down the road or on a curvy lane, when you had too much to drink and can't spell your own name, you should have made a plan to get yourself home safe, but you chose to drive home instead, and you should be ashamed. Oh no, 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 why'd you go thinking you should drive? Could have called a friend or cab to get you home tonight.
Keep the holidays happy, Tennessee. Booze it and lose it. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.